Hello, good evening. Good evening, ma'am, sir. Tayo lang natin. There's a few viewers coming in already, so we'll wait for a few more people. Five. Pag maka 100 tayo, masaya na ako. Hindi, just kidding. Kahit ilan. So, yeah. So, thanks for coming to watch the stream. This is kind of a special day for me kasi as the post suggests, it's what I've been teaching for a year. So, and under lockdown, we like to celebrate the small things. So this is something um, I like to celebrate because I mean it's been a hard year for year and a half for everyone. So kasi yung the teaching thing is really a new, kumbaga it's the latest chapter in my life as a musician, as a guitarist, and I'm still kind of learning as I go along. Wala naman nagturo sa akin maging teacher. So this is something I'm really kumbaga winging it, improvising like sa guitar. Yung sa guitar naman, I can't say for 100% na I'm self-taught because no one learns in a vacuum. There have been people who taught me small things here and there. So and my first teacher really was my dad because he was the musician in the family and he had a guitar lying around. So and yun nga, sorry na lang kay dad. Rest in peace. Pero ninakaw ko yung gitara niya kasi kaliwete ako and kananete siya. And thus started my journey. So yun, and there have been people who taught me certain things along the way and I learned from guitar magazines and syempre the internet ngayon. So today I kind of invited, just naisip ko lang the other day, what if I had some guests along kaysa yung nagdumadaldal na ako dito mag-isa. Guests along here for to celebrate the 1 year. And one of them is my student. And another one of them is really, I think, basically is yung first guitar hero ko growing up. Sige, so huwag na natin patagalin. Yeah. Hindi, sige, hello muna sa mga nanonood natin. Hey Dax, happy anniversary. Ikaw ang student number 2. Hello Mark. Yan yung mga students ko lumalabas na. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching. So ayun, ano lang, discussion, free flowing discussion lang to. I have some questions prepared, but yung the discussion can go anywhere. So feel free to drop your questions in the comments and we'll try to answer them as you go along. Sige. So my first guest on the stream is Carl Javier. He is the CEO of PumaPodcast, a podcast network that's breaking a lot of ground in the podcast scene dito sa Philippines. They recently won an Anvil Award for their cutting edge. Oh my God, the journalism is super. The stories are really compelling, I have to say. Yeah, and he recently signed up with me to learn more guitar. So this is Carl Javier. Welcome him to the stream. Hey Carl,
Hello everyone. Hi Chino, musta?
ayos lang. Kumain ka na?
Okay naman, yeah. Nagpakabusog muna.
Yes, I hope you have a drink or two ready. Ito yung ice tubig ko.
Ready.
Ayos. Okay.
Podcaster needs stay
Yeah,
hydrated.
podcast. Oo nga eh. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you. It's a real privilege to just hang out with you and then talk about guitar. I was kung si like it's you and si I'm with my guitar heroes tonight. So this is
Oh,
crazy.
sweet heart. Ganyan, heart. Tiny hearts. So, actually, nag-lesson lang kami kanina ng 4 o'clock, di ba? And it's always fun to kind of explore new things. So, before today, we were kind of learning functional harmony and kanina we discussed, well, nanood kami ng something about blues turnarounds, which is fun. Okay. Sige, again, thanks, Carla. So, this promises to be fun. And okay, so our other guest is like I said, he's practically my first guitar hero really because when I started learning guitar, uh, that kind of coincided with his tenure in a really popular band. Um, and one of the bands really that kind of informed my musical taste over the years. So he's also been there along the way to kind of mentor and give advice to the band. So kumbaga indirectly, if even if we never had a lesson together, indirectly he has taught me things, and I appreciate it greatly. And I think um sinabi ko sa kanya na I love you. So this is none other than Mr. Francis Reyes. Hello, Francis. How are you?
Yeah, I love you too. You're my favorite itchy worm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you're
Kinilig
the
ako.
better guitar player
Kinilig,
by
shit, kinilig ako.
300 fold.
Wow, grabe. Uy, baka magalit si Jugs.
Okay, no, I love you guys. You know that. You know that.
Yeah, thank,
Musically and personally, I really love you guys.
yeah, thank you. And we love you back. Ayun. So I was saying, um Francis is kind of practically my first guitar hero kasi before I started playing the guitar, I had known about the songs of the Dawn. Um but hindi pa ako musician noon, hindi pa ako nakahawak ng guitar. So around the time that Hearts Thunder came around was
Oh
when I
wow.
was starting to play the guitar. Na oh wow si Kiko.
Wow.
Kasi yun, and Hearts Thunder is the first cassette I bought with my own money. So nagasgas yun
I
sa
didn't know that. Shit.
so now you know.
Oh shit. Okay.
So now you know.
Okay.
And eh, and yun nga. So like I said, you taught me indirectly kasi like the sus to the ninth chords, I ninakaw ko yun, I added to my playing kasi it adds ang ganda na ano siya na parang another palette to your color to your palette, di ba?
Right. Yeah.
Magandang klaseng chord siya. And yun nga, and ayun, so today I have a confession to make to both of you.
Uh oh.
This has this is all a ruse because hindi, so, pangarap ko magkaroon ng guitar podcast and this is the first episode and Kiko, you're my
Okay.
first. Hindi, joke lang. Joke. Joke. So, Carl, baka naman, ano,
Game?
baka naman, baka totoohin ni Carl. Okay,
Why
hang
not?
on ha.
Oh, ano nangyari?
Oy.
Okay, sorry, may domestic something. Sorry.
Okay.
Buti hindi niyo narinig kasi narinig ko eh.
I
Ayun,
heard
so,
may
Yeah.
parang ganun. Was that a cat or something?
may po, may
Okay.
nagka-caterwall na pusa. Anyway, so so tonight in podcast style, nag-prepare ako ng some questions. Nagnako ako ng ano, ng konting show notes from Tyler Larson, who is with who does
Yeah.
the uh Music is
Music is
Win
win.
and Guitar Villains on the podcasts. Um Sige, so bilang gitarista tayo lahat, I'll ask you mga easy questions muna. Answer na lang at will, kung sinong mauna. So the first question is, what's your main guitar? And if there's
Oh,
any backstory as to how you got it, please tell.
who goes first?
Siguro
Jack
Carl
and
muna. Carl muna.
Jack and Poy.
Ikaw
No,
muna, sir.
mag Jack and Poy tayo because I don't think
O sige.
anyone's ever done Jack and
Sige,
Poy
try nyo
virtually.
mag-online Jack and
Okay.
Toy.
Online Jack and Poy. This is a first for
First.
the
Okay.
entire world.
Sige. Kailangan
Sige.
competitive ako bigla. No? Game.
Sige. Sige.
1, 2.
Pareho, isa pa.
Oh,
Parehong
naging
Caesar.
sister. Okay.
Parehong Caesar.
Caesar sisters. Oh my God. Okay.
No.
We might not end up talking about guitar. Sige.
Okay. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3. No, you go ahead. We're gonna go on
Alright.
forever. You go ahead.
Sige.
Sige, Carl na lang.
I, I so the story is right before lockdown, naisip ko lang na my for some reason I felt like I wanted to pick the guitar up again kasi we were podcasting. Parang feeling ko we needed to up our game by adding a little bit of live our own music kind of thing. Tapos meron akong weird DIY thing na pupulot lang ako ng I'll just teach myself how to do it. Um and then I walked into a store and then I brought home an SG because I thought it looked cool.
Oh,
So Epiphone
Yeah.
SG, and that was the first guitar that I learned with Chino on, and
Oo.
it just looked really cool. But parang hindi ako nagko-connect. People kept saying that you connect with it, and so
Yeah.
um, it was like a few days after my birthday, and I walked into a JB, and then you know I got this, and
Oh,
this is
yeah.
it,
uh,
and
what is?
it's a classic vibe Squire,
Mm-hmm.
Ganda. Good
classic vibe
choice.
60s, and the thing with it is for some reason it feels like home, like I
Right.
feel at home on this guitar, and I have one other thing that I have in regular circulation, but this is the one I'm thinking, and I pick it up, or when I tried recording, this is the one that I felt like I connected with. And so I mean, kahit kulang pa ako sa skills, it's the thing that feels like home. Parang ganon.
Nice. Good
That I think
story.
that's a really interesting story. Dahil ano look, we tend to be guitar nerds, and we follow our heroes, and all of these things, right? And minsan, we get so caught up in, oh, my hero, these are the guitars that my hero loves, so therefore I must have that sort of thing then. But it really doesn't work that way, because you are your own person. You have your own way of playing. Your hero has entirely different experiences compared to you, and experience comes into the picture whether you're writing a song, or even playing a lick, right? And this is what this is what I believe in. What works for your hero might not work for you. And the beautiful thing about the guitar is, ano talaga, yung mga hindi guitarista might not understand it, but there will be that one particular guitar that says tropa tayo, um you know and it doesn't have to be an expensive guitar. It can be a really cheap ass guitar. That's one of the things that's hard to explain to people, I guess. Galing,
Oo nga.
right? Nice story.
Galing. I've had
And
a similar experience. Sige, go ahead, Carl.
I just wanted to say na I didn't want to like the Strat. Kasi feeling
Ah,
ko
Bakit?
vanilla. Vanilla siya. Parang, Strat. Like,
if
it
if
felt
I
like a
met
common
you
guitar.
if I met you during that time,
Mm.
nag-aaway tayo siguro.
Diba? And then like I thought I was gonna be a metal player, and I thought
Right.
that I wanted like big chunky guitars with humbuckers, and yeah, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
So for you, Kicks, what's your main guitar, or at least the guitar that spoke to you like it did to Carl?
Okay. Right now it's this one. It's a PRS. I mean, I absolutely love this thing. It's a PRS SE, Tremonti custom, not the core model PRS. I can't afford that. Um, the thing is, anyway, uh, during the time that I was away from, because I left the Dawn, then rejoined. During that period when I was not in the Dawn, I've always loved Strats, always, and yeah, that's the one in the back. That was my main guitar prior to me rejoining the Dawn. And before I joined the Dawn, I was part of a band called Peso Movement, and we kind of have a sonic philosophy guitar wise, especially see Japs. And I was that was my main. When I rejoined the Dawn, of course I brought that, ganyan. And then Jet said, medyo manipis yung tunog eh. Even with I love high gain, I love the Dawn is a loud band. So
Yeah.
even if I turned it up and would um tweak yung settings na where it will sound fat,
Right.
Jet would go, abe,
Meh.
kulang sa ganyan-ganyan.
I
So
think baka nasanay siya na si Teds and Sushi
right,
were
yeah.
using Les Pauls.
Si Sushi, when we were both in the Dawn, yeah, si Sushi had a Les Paul. So anyway, fast forward, I was employed at Lyric at the time, and that's another story. I'm still with Lyric, by the way. And as an endorsement sort of thing, they let me have a Tokai Les Paul custom copy. So
Ooh.
I was proud and parang wow. And
Wow.
if
I
you
saw one of those, ang ganda nun.
yeah, and if you know yung Tokai, especially the Japanese made, no, especially any guitar made in Japan, it's quality stuff. Eh. I mean
Yeah.
that
Agree.
Strat, that's a reissue, and it's made in Japan. So I got the Tokai. Everyone's happy, and really fat,
Yeah.
sustained for every sort of sound. But I missed yung ano eh, one of the things that I really love is the whammy bar. Eh.
Ooh. So the
Um,
Tokai had no whammy bar. Fixed bridge siya.
yeah, fixed bridge siya. It's like a regular Les Paul custom type thing, and
Yeah. So
it's
with the
great.
stop tailpiece.
Yeah, with a stop tailpiece, and it's a great guitar, great sounding, but um, yung sa akin is I want a guitar with a
Yan.
whammy bridge dahil it always bugged me na when you play single notes you can add vibrato, or even
Correct.
when you hold down a chord you can kind of vibrato the
Yeah.
chord,
You can
right?
shake it. You can shake it. Shake the
You can
chord.
shake it, right? But when
Yeah.
you play open strings,
Hindi mo
wala
magagawa
yung
yun.
so parang
Yeah.
I know it sounds really ridiculous and trivial, but I didn't like the idea na I can vibrato any note that I hold, but the
Except the
notes
open ones.
that I'm not holding, nakaganon lang eh. And that's
Yeah.
really the main reason. And and most of my guitar heroes um, had guitars with vibrato bridges. So
Yeah.
and
No, it
of
it
course another thing is medyo LP shape siya, LP
yeah.
size. And I
No, so
remember my
it totally makes sense now because this one is basically the best of both worlds of your
yes it
you
is,
have the
yeah.
Les Paul sound but the vibrato of that was on the Strat,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Yon.
And the other reason also is I'm I'm a small guy, I'm a short guy. As much as I love Strats, even a Strat looks big on me. And I remember
Yeah.
going home sa Batangas when I first got the Tokai Les Paul, because it looks a little smaller than a Strat, right? And I remember my mom going, "Ay, ang ganda ng gitara na yan. Ang cute, maliit, bagay sa'yo." So so there's that other aspect of nako-conscious ako with what I look like. And I was also part of a band called Stereodeal, and we shot a video for one of the Stereodeal songs, and I was using a white Tokai Strat,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at parang I looked like I was holding a Fender jazz bass. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god! I mean,
So
you know, at
this
the end of the day, we're
kumbaga,
musicians. It shouldn't matter, right? But
but it
But it
does.
does. It does.
truth be
But it
told,
does.
it really
It
does.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
And
So
by the way, years ago, I
yeah.
had a semi-hollow Ibanez Art Core
Wow.
Mata 335 guitar, and I was living with Carl Roy at the time.
Ooh. Okay.
And I remember, you know, uh, being home and kakabili ko lang guitar. You know, I had it on me. I was playing it around the house. Carl comes home, walks in, looks at me. Dude, he started laughing. I was like, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Cousin, that thing looks too big on you." I was like,
Gotcha.
"I don't give a shit. You know, it's a nice guitar." Ganyan, ganyan. Yeah, yeah, but you look ridiculous. Ganyan. So yeah. But
Pero
anyway, this is
so
my long story, my main guitar. Yeah.
yeah. So same I'm gonna answer the same question. So the latest guitar basically that spoke to me like those did to you guys was is my Gibson Les Paul tribute.
Let's see
Ang
it.
ganda ng I don't have it with me. All I have now
Right?
is my I also have a Strat. So this is my first ever Fender,
Yeah.
1999 Mexico reissue.
Nice.
So
Na
this was
lefty, of
the
course.
syempre lefty.
Yeah.
This was the guitar I used to record the first album ng Itchy Worms.
Oh.
And so yun nga sa family ko kasi yung dad ko kept saying, "Oh, pag bumili ka ng electric guitar, buy a Stratocaster and has to be sunburst." So, my mom bought this for me in the US nung 99. Parang graduation gift niya sa akin sa college. Um, and yun nga, to your point, look shouldn't matter but they do. Ang ganda ng sunburst eh.
Yeah.
And yung gold top na Les Paul. Sobrang funny story. May gig kami we did the Music Matters Festival in Singapore in 2019 before everything went to shit. So 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 syempre pag Singapore, the usual pilgrimage if you're a musician is you go to Swili, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung music store. So sabi ko,
Wait, do you know yung ano yung those music stores
sa
sa ilalim ng
ilalim, yes.
Ng
Oo.
Excelsior Hotel?
Yung mga, yeah. Yung mga
Yeah.
basement stores, ang ganda rin doon.
Davis Guitar
Yeah.
Music Store. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, pinuntahan din namin. So sabi ko, wala akong masyadong cash on hand. So sabi ko, sige, naghanap ako flat mount strings for my hollow body. So sige, sabi ko, strings and maybe a pick and then an extra set of elixirs because I like elixirs. So punta kami sa Swili and then kausap ko yung yung store manager. Patingin naman ng string nyo, ganyan. Syempre hindi in Tagalog, di ba? But can I see your string la? So kausap ko yung store clerk and then sabi ni Jugs, Chen, magkano yung so and so amount in Philippine pesos. So nag-quick math ako. Sabi ko, ganyan lang. So tingnan mo to, may kaliweting guitar. Tapos pagtingin ko, ito the gold top. 2017 Les Paul tribute. So ang ganda ng
Wow.
niya. So hindi yung finish niya is kind of parang satin and then the binding is really
Right.
maganda na medyo
Yung
yellowed na.
Anilaw na, yeah.
Yeah. And then sabi ko shit, Jugs, ayoko bumili. but yun nga, so sabi ko sige na, subukan ko lang. And then yun yung isa sa mga experience na shit, love at first strum. Grabe, I plugged it in direct to a Marshall and as you can imagine, oh my god. And then sobrang stupid crazy nung price. I was able to get it for the equivalent of like 37,000 pesos. So
Oh, wow.
Gibson USA
Wow.
Les Paul tribute. Yeah. So sobrang sabi ni Jugs, pag hindi mo tong bilhin to, awayin kita. So ko, sige po boss. Ang daling
No,
kausap
actually,
eh. So,
if I was there, I would say exactly the same thing.
'di ba? Ang stupid crazy nung price. It was so cheap kasi
Yeah.
pala. Display model siya. And it had been hanging in the store since 2017. So 2 years na siyang nakatenga, walang bumibili. It's as if it was waiting for me. So,
Ganda.
'di ba? So I bought it and I use it in some of our live gigs already. Syempre ginamit ko na mula nung nakuha ko. And then my other main guitar is my American Standard Strat na nabili ko kay Cowboy Santos. That's my
Yeah, he was
first
also a lefty, yeah.
Yeah, nakaliwete rin siya. So
Yeah.
yun, that's yung of all my strats, that's the strattest sounding strat. So
Ang
I love
mahirap
it
lang
also.
sa
And
guitar na yan is ano eh, yung ang gwapo ni Cowboy lang eh. No? Medyo,
oo nga
if
eh,
only
coming
we
from
could,
someone like Cowboy, tapos ako yung hawak, parang, di ba? And si Dax yung una ko pinakitaan nung picture nung ano nung Les Paul, sabi niya, you deserve it.
yeah.
Sige. So
Lefty
moving,
US Gold Top Les Paul reissue at
yes,
that price.
cannot
Meant
not
for
buy
you.
it eh.
Cannot,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
It was sweet.
So yeah, super happy with that guitar. So sige, quick answer lang. Strings, what kind of gauge strings and pick do you use?
Carl?
Carl.
It Elixir 9, although I'm thinking of going down kasi may nakita akong weird thing ni
8s.
Billy Gibbons na he's trying to get to the thinnest possible thing. So, whatever.
Billy
Wow.
Gibbons goes down to 7 pa nga eh.
7.
Oo
Yeah.
nga
Yeah,
daw eh.
diba? So,
Yeah.
How about
7 to
your
32
pick?
I think.
How about your pick,
one
Carl?
1.5. I'm trying to find something thicker. And I'm gonna find something but
Wow, okay.
6 muna, yeah.
Okay. Ikaw, kick,
Yeah.
strings and pick.
Elixir OptiWebs 11s
Wow, okay.
and I cannot uh Dunlop Jazz 3 Otex.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I
Ako naman, I
really,
also
Trying to
use,
find
really
the
love it. Ano
ooh,
yan?
yan.
maganda, JHS.
Gravity. Gravity.
Ganda.
Tas malaki siya eh. So, I'm trying to find something like this. And wala akong makita pa.
Ganda. So ako naman, I also favor elixirs. It's 10s and I'm considering also going down to 9s because the arthritis kind of setting in. And
You
this
have
is my
arthritis? Oh my God, you're so young.
and so this
Otex
is my
10.
current favored pick. But
Right.
I also like yung green Tortexes.
Yeah.
But I don't have one on me now. So this is ito yung closest, ito yung next na gusto ko. Ito yung next na gusto ko, Tortex.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
kind but the green one. And nagpagawa din ako recently. It comes very close to the Tortex. But this is yung itchy worms na pick.
Anong gauge yan?
This comes close to the green one and this blue one. So the blue one is, if I can read it, 1.0 millimeter. So
Uy,
almost the
pengin
same
naman.
as the. Sige,
Pengin naman.
padalang kita.
Hindi lang isa ha. I need
Oh, sige, ilan? 10?
10.
Sige, padalang kita. Ikaw, Carl, gusto mo din?
Game.
Sige, I'll
By
send
the way,
you
yung
as a. Yeah.
itong the Dunlop picks. Yes, I work sa lyric, but we're open naman dito, diba? You can buy these sa JB.
Ooh.
And the reason why, by the way, the reason why I've been using Jazz 3s since for decades now.
Yeah.
But my times when I was in Peso Movement and I was primarily Strat, right?
Yeah.
So syempre when I'm playing sa higher register nung a Strat is a Strat. So I was trying to get a punchier sound, a fatter sound, and really
Gets.
this pick delivers that. And
Gets.
and even if I play a humbucker guitar, I've stuck with it. I really the pick matters. No matter, there are
Yes.
people who disagree, but the pick matters. The
Yes, it
thickness,
does.
the material
Agree.
affects your tone.
It's
Absolutely.
weird. It's weird how obsessed we get, and like I feel like I can be talking to somebody and parang kailangan ingatan ko just going off onto some tangent about what I'm
Right.
hearing that I might just be the only person hearing it. I wrote this essay recently na I'm in I have a katana, so merong yung software ng katana is the Boss Tone Studio, and I said it's the only community where if you say BTS, people think Boss Tone Studio first before anything else.
Yeah.
Tama.
Yeah. Ingat tayo sa BTS because baka
Oo
may
nga, delikado. I'm not gonna.
Chino na yeah.
Yeah, man.
I will
yeah,
not touch that issue.
Respect.
So tama kasi this sounds different from
Yeah.
this. Ito jazz. This is a Dunlop Jazz 3. So I recently discovered na
I have that
the
then.
pick the pick does matter, and it sounds different from this
It
also.
does.
Kasi
Right.
iba yung attack, and iba yung how it either dulls or brings out
Yep.
Yeah.
the treble of your string. So I discovered this pick, etong Ultex na point
The
6.
old Texas ano. I also have yung Jazz 3. I have the red one,
Yeah,
and for a long time I was using the black one,
yeah,
and the red one um mas mellow yung attack eh than the
yes,
black one.
yes, exactly.
And by the way, this one's
Same
the Eric
discovery.
Johnson Jazz 3, and this is the
Oh,
regular red Jazz 3. There's a
how
really
do I
slight.
know if I have the Eric Johnson? May pirma ba pag Eric
It will
Johnson?
say Eric Johnson
Okay.
TX. Yeah.
So I just have the normal Jazz 3.
Wala,
Yeah.
kailangan makahanap tayo
Yung
niyan.
ano eh,
Oh,
yung siguro naman yung lahat ng nanonood dito mga gitarista, so they'll understand. The Eric Johnson is just a little bit more flexible compared to the regular red Jazz 3,
yeah.
but definitely the Ultex has almost zero flex.
Oo.
And ano.
Yung Jazz 3 lang is a bit too small for my taste. Gusto ko lang medyo
well, may
may
may Jazz 3 XL.
ooh. Okay.
Whoa, wait. I can because I have spares. I have so many of the regular Jazz 3 Ultexes. I'll give you my Jazz 3 XLs na lang.
Wow, thank you. Sige,
Give,
pick
give me your
exchange tayo.
address.
I
May
will, I
nagtanong
will.
nga pala from Kurt Floresca, who we
Yan.
both work with.
Si
Buti
Boss
may
Kurt.
nabibilan ka ng pick na pang lefty. Oo nga, no?
Oo, madaling makahanap. Madali lang sa mga tindahan.
Paano yung string sets for left-handed players? Mahirap
Ganun
ba
din.
maghanap?
Madali lang naman din. Very easy. Sa
Ah,
lyric meron. Lyric
oo, yeah.
Bekanaman. Sige, before we continue, hello lang sa mga kaibigan natin. Si Rommel, my batchmates there. Si Dax ng Kite. Si Jarl, yung iba-iba kong students. Si Boss Kurt ng Lyric. Boss HM po.
Who
Saka si
sometimes
Jazz.
plays
Hello,
drums
Jazz.
for you and sometimes
Yes,
plays drums
nagsisession
for
siya sa
us.
Firms.
Yeah.
Sa Peso Movement. And yeah. So, hi Jazz, love you too.
Uy,
Tapos, sino
kabanda
pa
mo
yung
lang
nandyan?
yung mahal mo, Jazz. I'm really hurt by that.
si Gary nandyan. Si Dax my enabler. Egay, hello. Sino pa ba? Marv. Sa mga nagko-comment. Sige, we'll try to get to your questions in a bit. I'll ask one more question, then we'll maybe answer some questions from the viewers.
Sure.
Sige. So last question before we kind of shift gears to another line of questioning. So sige, so we've done guitars and picks and strings, so pedals naman ngayon. What's
Oh my
uh
God. How long do you have?
hindi, eto na lang. Sige, so ito,
Sige.
if you were to go to a desert island and could only bring one pedal, what would it be? Na hindi tuner, ah. For a
Carl, go
tuner.
ahead.
I have a Love Pedal Bone Tender, and I
What's that?
found na it's a tone bender clone, and
Oh, so it's an
so
fuzz.
it's a fuzz na if you turn down the gain and you turn up the level, para lang siyang overdrive. So you can coax like blues driver sounds out of it at low gain.
Ooh.
But if you turn up the gain, it's crazy. It's a beast. And then I it's I also have a muff. Parang one of the what I decided as I was learning was I wanted to experience the history of guitar through pedals. So I've been trying
Wow.
to
Have you
find
guys seen the pedal movie?
yes.
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 Yeah, it's
Matic
not.
na yan, Matic.
That's the ultimate guitar player's porn movie. If
Diba?
you ask.
Yes. Super.
Yes.
Super.
Tatlong
So
beses ko
I
na pinanood.
shit,
Wow.
ganda
Sige,
no.
I have to
Yeah.
watch again. Sige, so
And
that's nice, Carl. Sige,
I
go
was
ahead, go
trying
ahead.
to find like the different fuzzes, and so yung bone tender, or if I can find an even better like tone bender clone, but it has a better treble than the muff. Yung muff kasi medyo nangongongo at times, so
Okay.
it's that one. The other one is
Gets.
the muff.
Okay, Francis. Desert Island pedal. Hirap, no?
Of course, the assumption is dun sa desert island may guitar amp, right?
And may kuryente.
At may kuryente.
Or at least may unlimited supply of 9 volts
Right,
batteries.
yeah.
Dun
Uh,
dun dun dun
Shit.
dun dun dun.
Okay,
Ta-da-da.
because ano, I kind of have two answers eh. One's on
Sige.
say, my immediate answer would be yung the Tech 21 NYC Liverpool.
Yes. I think
Um,
that is part of your signature sound, so I would agree. A very
yeah,
nice pedal.
it used to be my main drive pedal. I use it as a distortion overdrive, especially sa Peso Movement because there's that mid-rangey yet buka na tunog, and my two of my favorite ever guitar heroes are Brian May and The Edge, and they use Vox amps, and the Liverpool is a Vox emulation. Eh. So if I want to sound like George Harrison, turn the character knob all the way down. If I want
Yeah.
to sound not play like these people, by the way, because basta, yeah. So if I want to emulate Brian May, just turn the character knob all the way up. I
Ooh.
mean, yung range niya of tones is incredible. Yung super jangly clean, no breakup, to all the way na saturated na you hold the note and then it coaxes out the harmonic without not the natural harmonic, bubuka na lang yung tunog.
Nice. And
Um,
the other one is,
the other one
what's your
is the
second answer?
Empress Zoya.
Ooh.
Because you can actually create an effect from scratch. And if you're in a desert island, well, what am I gonna do? I think I'll create a synthesizer. Oh, I think I'll create a phaser. Oh, I think I'll create a distortion box.
Okay.
So
Ganun pala yun. Hindi ko alam na ganun pala si Zoya.
I think si Jazz has one. It's you can use it as a straight up, if you like, a normal guitar pedal.
Yeah.
You can dive a little deeper and construct your own modular synth, and you
Yeah.
can play it as a keyboard synth with the keypads, or you can use it as a mixer, or yung no, by the way, nauuso sa guitar effects ngayon, delays and reverbs, yung mga nagmo-modulate and nag the shimmery stuff, tapos yung repeats may biglang nag-arpeggiate or whatever. I think that's primarily granular synthesis.
Yeah.
And the Zoya, this the Zoya has everything. Eh.
Oh,
I
wow.
just wish I had enough time. No, I have time, but I have a day job. But if I was rich, I'd stay home the entire day and just create newish, create my own effects if you like. So
Nice.
yun yung two extremes. The Zoya isn't quite for everyone. If you want your an instant sound or whatever, you can still get it, but it's really primarily for if you want to explore something, hopefully that's never been heard before. It's a geek. It's a guitar geek's pedal, really, and it's so deep na basta yun. And it has lots of
Sige.
lights.
Saan ba nakakabili niyan? Meron ba niyan sa lyric?
Wala. I ordered mine I ordered mine from
From their website? Or Amazon?
sold out na sa website eh.
Oh my gosh.
Si Barbie Almalbis, she was the one who turned me onto this pedal because we had this U2 tribute thing before U2 came here to play, and Rico Blanco assembled um, a super band. And then
Yeah.
see, Barbie had one. I said, "Oh, you have the Empress Zoya," and I've only seen the YouTube thing, and I was intrigued, but I was like, okay na ako eh. But see, Barbie demonstrated it, and no, Kiko, you have to have this. You love effect. Blah, 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 blah. Like, how okay, okay. Oh, so then we exchanged messages, and then I said, well, she even there's an Empress Zoya users page sa Facebook,
Uy.
and she made me part of it. I didn't even have a Zoya yet.
So
Then
in
then
other
I
words, nilason ka ni Barbie.
nilason ako ni Barbie, and then
I just
tried
need
the
to say,
website.
walang
It wasn't
okay na
available,
ako.
and then she sent me a link na no, order through here, order through here. I'm like, okay,
You know,
kinomit na niya
for
ako dun sa Facebook group, and I wanted the pedal anyway, so I ordered it. Yeah,
I
Oo.
feel like if you connect being a geek to everything that can be done with a guitar and the electric guitar and everything around it, wala
Oo.
talagang okay na ako eh.
Oo nga, lalo na
Meron at
ngayon.
yeah,
meron
yeah.
eh.
I mean,
Let's
yun
be
nga,
honest.
you guys watch the Pedal movie, and
Yeah,
tama yung sabi ni Joshua H. Scott, it's the best time to be alive if you're a guitarist, kasi
yes,
yung grabe yung range and yung depth and yung breadth of the kind of pedals you can make. So case in point yung Zoya.
yeah.
I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, you would not have imagined na I can
No,
do
yeah,
stuff like that on the guitar, 'di ba?
yeah,
It's ang galing nung advancements ng technology eh. So
yeah.
I think nalason mo na rin ako. Pag ako'y nagkapera, bibili ako ng Soya.
But
Or
no,
irinig ko
but
muna kay Jazz.
just
Sabi ni
hiramin
Jazz
mo yung
meron siya.
play jazz. You'll go nuts, and
Oo nga eh.
uh, basta
Gets ko.
ang
Nung,
ganda niya
ito
talaga,
yung,
sobra.
ito yung lesson story ko ha. Noong towards the end of 2017, 2018, grabe ang dami kong biniling pedals. As in, nakabuo ko ng dalawang pedal board. Well, that was the objective naman talaga na
Right,
to create a main pedal board and a backup pedal board
right.
for other kinds of gigs
These are
na
the
small.
lies that we tell ourselves.
Yes, and tama si Carl, walang okay na ako eh. So, simula ng 2019, na-deploy ko na finally yung pedal board. So, natenga ng 6 months bago ko nabuo eh. So, sabi ko, okay na muna ako. And then, hindi ko pa nasagot yung question. So, may dumating si Direk Juno. He sold me this pedal.
Wait,
So,
what is that?
it's an Analog Man, King of
Oh,
Tone.
wow.
Oh my god!
Wow.
So, this is my Desert Island pedal. Because
Chino,
like
basta ako, hindi pa ako okay. Hindi
ako din, hindi pa ako okay. walang support group para sa atin. So, eto gumawa ka ng
Yeah.
support group. So, this one, do not ask how much it costs, but because it is super
How much
expensive.
did it cost?
Do not ask how much. Sabi mo lang, it all costs almost as much as my Les Paul.
So, I mean, look, the Zoya is
Mga ganun din ba?
Ano ba, sa 20 ba yun?
hindi na, mas mura naman.
Ayun. So, well,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, yung Analog Man kasi, may mythos to, may parang myth to na katulad nung clone at saka nung mga
Yeah.
may mga grail pedals. Na this one, if you want one of these, you have to order directly from the website, and
Right.
there's a waiting list of 2 years.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, at least. So ang swerte ko na binenta sa akin to ni Direk Juno, and this one, sabi ni Mike, okay na ako equals char. Totoo. Char. So ito yung pedal na ginamit ko for the songs on our last album. And yun nga, like your Liverpool, yung breadth then yung range ng character na makuha mo dito.
Right, yeah.
Yung okay dito, it's there's a high gain stage and a kind of low gain stage, and na-appreciate ko yung yung low gain.
And you can
tones
switch.
niya. Yes.
You can switch, right? Yeah.
You can switch and you can stack them. Pwedeng sabay, pwedeng isa-isa lang. So hindi lang to naka-plug ngayon kasi it's a bit too big for my home pedal board.
Right.
Okay. Sige. So are there may questions yata from our
Si Kurt Torresca, anong favorite niyong cymbals na bagay sa tunog ng guitar to?
Sige, ikaw. Sagutin ba na? Serious question ba to?
Well, ako, yung sa akin lang, I don't deal with questions that have nothing to do with musical instruments.
Whoa.
Nah, it's a running. Kurt knows it's a running joke.
Ako, ang paborito kong cymbals kung ano man yung gamit ni Jazz.
Yeah.
Ano pa ba? So may comments are, okay, so, uh, yes, Dax, thank you. We all deserve it. We deserve all the... So may nagtanong if I have ever had a, uh, saan nga ba yun? Had a Squire Jazz Master. Have you, ako, never. Have you had, either of you had like an offset type guitar like the Jazz Master? And what are your
Hmm.
thoughts?
Ako, no. I love the shape. Um, and uh, one of I have so many guitar heroes. One of them's Nels Klein and of Wilco, but the stuff he does on his own with the Nels Klein singers is absolutely insane.
Wow.
Um,
Sige, that's someone to listen to.
yeah,
Nels Klein.
if you've ever sabihin na lang natin na, he's a jazz guitarist who lived a hardcore punk rock life and melded it together in basta I can't begin to describe what Nels Klein does. He can shred. He can do really deep jazz lines. He'll just mess around with his fuzz factory and whatever. The guy is, you know, for me, he's my type of guitar hero. Na um, he won't specialize in any one genre. He'll
Okay.
know what he can about, and then he'll blend them all together. And kung ano man yung lumabas, whether you identify bits of it as jazz or noise or ambient or whatever, it's
Oo.
him.
Oo.
Because
Para,
I think that's the
siguro is
goal.
of the school na ano, we blend genres. We don't stay in just one.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yan. So question from the viewer, Jarl. He was also my student. I never bought an electric guitar ever, only an acoustic. Any advice on buying my first electric guitar? Carl.
Go to the store and try as many as you can and
Right.
keep going around. Kasi at some point, meron akong intense muse face. And
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
and and
Yeah, ako rin.
ang pogi lang nung Telecaster ni Bellamy na signature. Tapos nakita ko sa court, and it was hanging there and it was
Yep.
on sale and stuff. And I sat down with it and it just didn't happen. Yung parang the magic didn't happen in the way that this kind of last piece Squire that I got worked.
Yeah.
That's one. But also, be prepared to buy a guitar and have that guitar not be the one, and you'll kind of
Yeah.
try
Right.
others and
Agree.
figure out
So
who you are as a guitar player.
which
Yeah.
is
Akala mo naman
why
natagal ko na, di ba? But
also for guitars, okay na ako equals char.
yeah, okay na ako.
So
Okay na
other
ako until like
next
a made in Japan strat comes
sige,
along.
next viewer question, what do you prefer, multi effects or analog pedals, and why? Francis, care to
Oh.
answer?
I had, syempre, like everyone, especially my generation, konti pa yung multi effects when I was starting out. So syempre, I had no choice but stomp boxes. And you know, you know, you write songs or learn. In my case, I learned the Don's catalog, maraming tunog, and we were interested in a lot of things. And then, stepping on individual stop boxes was becoming tedious. So, multi effects ako for the
Yeah.
convenience of, okay, here's a preset for, let's say, I stand with you, or here's a preset for rock till you drop. Straightforward, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan.
Gets. I got it.
But unfortunately, I at one point I gave up on multi effects because I ended up programming. Like I'd have a riff or a chord progression in my head, and I want. Tapos ni-imagine ko, oh, siguro for the chorus I'll use a phase type thing. So I'd look
Yeah.
for the sound, and 6 hours later, I'd still be programming and
Oh my
totally
god.
forgot
What
about
you were
the
supposed to
song
do.
itself. What I was supposed to do. Forget this. But
I guess yun lang
currently,
yung ano,
combination.
yun lang siguro yung pitfall sa kapag nag ano ka, at lalo na ngayon yung mga multi effects ngayon. They're so ang endlessly tweakable siya.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So hindi mauubos talaga yung oras mo. But I
yeah.
guess
My
to this question, pag guitarist ka, you try everything eh. Ako
yeah,
din dumaan din ako sa multi-effects. I had the Zoom 1010 very early on, but then I switched to pedals more kasi yung individual pedals kasi well, they were cheaper and a bit more convenient, easier to tweak on the fly, 'di ba?
yeah.
And I guess you
The
have to
only
work then with yeah, sorry, go ahead.
um I have a combination of analog and multi effects now.
Oh,
I've identified kasi my personal needs na when it comes to dirt overdrive distortion. I have an HX line 6 HX. I absolutely love it. You know, it's a modeling processor, fantastic distortions and all of those things. But I prefer yung overdrive distortion to be analog and external.
agree.
And the multi effects bits, yung mga preset for U2 type delays or wild ambient things, then you reserve that sa multi effects. It's still kind of a pedal board dance, right? Dahil sometimes here's one sound for this part of the song, and then a absolutely different sound for another part. Then I kind of have to I have to turn off the distortion and ganyan, ganyan, ganyan.
Right,
But
right.
for me it's all about yung integrity of the sound that you hear in your head, if you like.
Right.
And
So
maybe it's psychological na I trust an analog distortion overdrive pedal more than its modeled equivalent na you can't really tell the difference. Well, you can, but the difference isn't really enough to affect your playing or performance in in any manner. But I just prefer it na yung core
your drives are
tone
analog
because
and then everything else is digital.
right, because we're rock guitarists, so we want to
Yeah.
feel na nagagaling pa rin from a point where it's somewhat organic, if you like.
Yeah, I agree. I think then yung sa distortion dahil napaka-particular natin sa drives or distortion, we like to be
Right.
able to adjust it immediately. Na ayoko na
Yes.
mag-menu dive para lang
Yeah.
i-adjust yung treble or yung drive, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And baka din mas may immediacy yung analog kasi you hear it right away in the room instead of
Yeah.
yung digital kasi I guess ano ba, mas ang experience ko kasi sa digital na distortions are through plugins sa studio. And
Right.
then while they can achieve yung sounds that are close to analog, iba pa din eh. Parang there's
Yeah.
something na na the sound inside a room is different from how
Oh
you
yeah.
hear it
Yeah.
directly in your headphones, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sige.
So
So
ako,
more
I have
sige Carl.
input there as a new player, and as a new learner. Kasi I think you guys are obviously pros and you've been
Well,
playing around with all of
we
this,
try
diba?
to be.
We try
But
to be, yeah.
ako as a new learner, as someone who's just discovering it and finally getting to play guitar at a time in history nga na these things are accessible and affordable at different
Yes.
price ranges
I
and all
envy
that,
you, Carl.
right? But you come in as a new learner and you actually get to learn one the history of it all, but then what is a fuzz and what's the difference between these fuzzes and what does a delay actually do and
Yes.
what is compression, and you only learn that, I think, or you learn that best if you get it in the individual pedal and you tweak and you
True.
find it and
Mismo.
it's there pa
Yeah.
isa-isa, kasi if
Mismo.
you go with the multi-effect parang hindi mo pa naintindihan. And
Oo.
so it makes sense to me, like I did the pedals and then I started doing the boss stuff, so parang okay, ngayon
Yeah.
naintindihan ko na yung slow gear, pero if I'd gotten the thing 6 months ago, wala akong idea what that even is.
Oo.
That's a great perspective dahil like yung mga I still remember, Gino mentioned Hearts Thunder. That was in 1990, and that was my first experience in a proper recording studio back then. 2-inch tape and whatever. Pero and kami ni Junboy would talk about this, the Don's drummer. You don't remember those days when you'd track something, and maybe it's a vocal track or a guitar track or whatever, and it's running through some sort of whatever reverb it is. Tapos
Yeah.
ititigil yung tape. Pag tinigil yung tape, babato
Umandar pa rin
yung
yung
ano,
reverb.
yung reverb na yung gaganon eh.
Yeah.
And it was such a magical experience hearing that. Yung dahil God, it's so otherworldly, and you felt like, oh God, I'm recording something and
Oo.
whatnot, and you could only find yung ganong klaseng reverb, whether if maybe it's a plate reverb in the studio. The Boss Digital Reverb came out right around that time, late '80s, early '90s, and they were good, but um the reverbs on whether it's the Zoya or the Line 6 HX is just absolutely mind blowing. And yung panahon na yun, it was a rack, either a physical uh yung plate reverb, syempre it was physical, but the deeper reverbs were digital, yung mga Yamaha
Yeah.
SPX19 whatever, and they were
Yeah,
rack mounted.
yung rack mounted. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But now it's in a really small package, and they can do so much more pa na parang, oh my god, infinite reverb. Yung the Line 6 HX has
Mm-mm.
the dynamic hall, which is, or even yung the particle verb, which I could not even imagine back then, and it's
Oo nga
and
eh.
it's there. It's under
Oo.
my foot.
Parang ano na tayo, Star Trek na tayo ngayon sa pedals. Sige, so
Yeah,
one last
yeah.
question from the viewers and then we move on to another line of questioning. So the question is high-end guitar but low-end amp or low-end guitar but high-end amp, sir? Hehehe. May answer na ako dito,
Hmm.
so can I go first?
Go, yeah.
For me, low-end guitar but high-end amp. Kasi
Hmm.
a low-end guitar you can upgrade and you
Right.
can change the strings, change the pickups, change the saddles to make it sound better. But yung low-end amp, wala ka masyado pwede gawin dun eh. So, if
Right.
you can afford it, buy a good quality amp. Um, and then yung guitar, you can make do with kind of a mid-range or budget
Sure,
guitar
yeah. Yeah.
because tone is in the Indian, not the pana.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get too deep into that dahil ang daming never mind. By the way, just to tie it in with a question earlier, how to shop for first electric guitar.
Yeah.
By the way, when you shop for your first electric guitar, you better shop for your first amp also. The thing
Mm,
is, and I absolutely believe this, an electric guitar is different from an acoustic guitar. It's very different. And
yeah.
Elliot Easton of the Cars said this in a guitar player interview. An electric guitar without an amp is only half an instrument. And he was right.
True. So true.
I mean, let's say you have the money, right? And your dream guitar is I don't know, like a Tony Iommi SG or whatever. And you have the money and it's your first electric guitar and you have the means to buy that. How can you make it sound like Tony Iommi if you don't have an amp? When you're looking for your first electric guitar, you better look for your first amp then. For so many years, I'd buy electric guitars and whatever, but I never had my own amp. I'd buy pedals and all of these things. I never owned an amp. That was the dumbest thing ever. Because when so mga when you buy an electric guitar, look for an amp para kompleto siya. Then you think about the pedals, you know. Uh, and really, you don't play the electric guitar the same way that you play an acoustic guitar. The principles are the same, pero yung tunog iba eh. You can apply some of the same techniques, some of the techniques apply to both instruments, but really, if you're going to buy an electric guitar, you have to embrace um, the tactile difference and the timbral difference with an acoustic guitar. And there are people who are stellar at both. Like si Sancho, um,
Yeah.
he shreds on acoustic, he shreds on electric.
Yeah.
I can shred on electric. Don't make me shred on acoustic. I
Ako,
kind of can, but not in the way that Sancho can.
I cannot
He's one of
shred.
those people na pareho eh.
I cannot shred at all.
As if it's
Slow.
important. I mean, that guitar
Yeah.
solo sa Beer, that's one of the best guitar solos in Pinoy rock history. That's a
Oh, thank you.
no, I mean it. May kwento, ang ganda ng phrasing, yung bending na yung staccato na patas, it's a very vocal
Thank you.
approach. May lande, and all of that.
You know.
You don't
Thank
have
you.
to shred. All you, lahat ng mga guitarista, all you have to do is
Taking notes,
and
don't have to shred.
Yeah, taking notes.
yeah, if you want to go ahead, but at the end of the day, just make music.
Thank you.
Do
Actually,
a solo that
yung guitar solo na yun, alam ni Jazz to, sobrang hindi ako happy do sa performance ko na yun. Like, I'm constantly trying to better it at live shows. So, I do a
sure,
different
yeah.
solo every night when we play that song. So,
Yeah.
sabi si Jazz naman, parang, seryoso ka? but yeah, again, depends on the context. You have to serve the song, right?
Right. Always.
Yan.
Always.
Always serve the song.
Always.
Lalo na kung may songwriter ka tulad nila Jet Pangan at ni Jazz Nicolas, di ba? Oh my gosh. Okay. Sige, let's kind of shift gears to learning the guitar because that is after all the title of the page and what we are commemorating today. So have you either of you had a memorable teacher, and if so, what's the if you're only to take away one lesson that they taught you, what would it be?
Carl, this is your chance to
Get guitar teacher ba? Kasi I've only had one. Ganyan.
Sige, so after me, get someone else.
But no, Chido, I mean the opportunity to learn guitar with you has been something. I mean, how many people can stop and say, well, my guitar teacher is Chino Singson. Ganon. It's I know that anybody can sign up, but di ba to embrace kind of the great opportunities that were created by the challenges of the pandemic and all that. Na parang, at what point would I imagine that we would be doing guitar lessons together if not for this parang really weird time in history?
Ako din never ko na-imagine na magtuturo ako eh.
Diba? And
Yeah.
I think I mean I would speak not just for myself but for all your students. Now what a great opportunity it is to learn from someone like you.
Thank you.
And I do take joy in the fact na sometimes we're learning it together, diba?
Yeah,
We're
tama.
learning our scales together, mga ganyan.
And we're learning turnarounds together.
We're learning turnarounds together, ganyan. Na parang, Chino, I want to learn the blues. Ikaw parang, sige, aralin ko rin siya for you. Ganun. So, I think that, there's a certain openness in the way that we are learning together. And I mean, I appreciate all of the technicalities. But if there is one thing, it was, kasi I had come to believe that I just didn't have an ear. Like wala akong sense for it. Like I knew when, diba? I knew when music was cool or not cool or whatever. Pero you really pushed me into ear training, and I'm not that great. Pero the fact that I can sit around, hear a song, and go, shit, trip ko yan and then hanapin ko siya.
And kaya mo na sabayan, di ba?
It's empowering. Yeah, it's really something. And
yeah.
And I never imagined that I'd be picking out guitar solos until you just pushed me into it. Sige, yan ang homework.
Yeah.
I'm like, puta naman. Eric Clapton guitar solo for homework. but
diba? And
here we are.
Sana Malmsteen Far Beyond the Sun. Yan. Yan ang homework mo.
Yun lang.
Kala ko ba don't shred?
I'll be gentle with you. Just Maybe just the first 30 seconds of that piece.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Pasa ko dyan. Pasa ko dyan. O sige, ikaw, Kix. Memorable teacher and memorable takeaways from that teacher.
Um, well, I'm largely self-taught.
Yeah.
Uh, my first guitar teacher was my kuya. Whenever I play a D chord, I think of him. And kuya passed on. I don't want to get sentimental right now and all that. So from a technical perspective, he showed me how to hold a D chord, where to place my thumb, and extremely
So yung
basic, but
physical aspect, he taught you the physical aspect of it.
yeah, because after teaching me the D chord, alam mo na. Oh, sige. Then he ran out, got on his bicycle, and went out with his barkada. But
Okay.
now, but the important thing with that is, for him, guitar playing was just fun. Umabot ako sa punto, of course, like everybody else, na I took it so seriously to the point where I probably wasn't enjoying music or the guitar anymore. There have been moments because I was taking it so seriously, and sometimes I have to learn and remember that moment when Kuya taught me my very first chord, the open D, and I have to remember na he was a natural guitar player, right? And he was just having fun with it. And no matter what stage you are, skill wise, with playing the guitar or playing music, the key word is to have fun din eh. No matter what your artistic goals or personal goals are in terms of
Yeah.
expressing yourself, no matter how serious they may be, kailangan may saya at may gaan eh, right? So
Correct.
that's one. The
Yeah.
other
So
one
go.
is
Yeah.
the only you could say formal guitar lessons that I've ever had um, was 2008. So I enrolled in Jazz Guitar 101 Berkeley online.
Wow.
Uh,
How was that experience?
it's oh, ang galing. Of course, Berkeley is a fantastic music school, and I was skeptical at first. Like, how can you teach jazz guitar online, right?
Yeah.
Pero ang ganda ng pagka-layout ng program, and so it was a 3-month course, and at the end of each week, you can chat with your teacher. In my case, there was a bunch of us from all over the world. Na teacher namin si Bruce Saunders, a great guitar
Okay.
player. So yung technically the first lessons were because I love jazz, wanted to learn jazz guitar, and from a technical perspective, the thing that he emphasized was the lessons that we had to replicate and improvise with focused on eighth notes lang.
Okay.
And in my head, uh, I love Pat Metheny and all of these people. So yung swing feel bebop na ganyan ganyan. But he was insistent, focus on
Eighth
on
notes
eighth note.
muna. Start
Yeah,
slow, baby steps. So,
right.
well, ako din
So
kasi
and then
out of yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
So, recent a few years ago kasi sabi ko I want to learn jazz. So I signed up
Mhm.
with Aya Yuson, who's no longer playing but sobrang sharp pa rin ng mind niya.
Yeah, yeah.
And we took it for a couple of months, and then I got busy. So natigil din yun. So that opened my mind to kasi paborito ko rin yan si George Benson, si Pat Metheny,
Right.
si sino ba? Uh,
Marami.
yeah, si Wes, si Larry
Yeah,
Carlton. So all these
right.
jazz greats on guitar. So that's something I kind of aspire to. But then looking into the stuff that you need to know to be able to improvise jazz or at least play a jazz song, narealize ko, oh shit, this is why people go to school for to learn
Yeah,
jazz guitar.
yeah,
'Di ba? So hindi
yeah,
pwede, parang dito hindi pwedeng wala kang teacher, kumbaga. So
yeah.
at the
And
moment, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry. Hindi, okay.
So at
Go
the
ahead. Yeah.
moment, kino-content ko na lang yung sarili ko muna at by watching mga mga videos of jazz teachers and really good jazz players.
Yeah.
Um so siguro not hindi mo na ngayon yung jazz. Siguro later on I'll kind of get there kahit papaano. So and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, go ahead. You're not done
Sa
yet. Sorry.
and yun nga sabi mo when I was watching your talk with Perf sa channel niya and you said nga yun nga patience should be one of the things you
Oh
hold
yeah.
on to when you're learning kasi siguro and I always say this in ano, in interviews when they ask kasi sa internet age in the Instagram guitarist age ang daling magkaroon ng imposter syndrome na shit
Mhm.
marunong ba akong maggitara. Di ba? I fell into that hole eh. Na parang, oh man, am I even
We all do.
a guitarist, di ba? So, kasi sa Instagram, you see all these perfect takes of these beautiful runs and beautiful
Mm-hmm.
solos na
Yeah.
parang, okay, why can't I do that? But what people don't
Oh yeah.
see is the dozens, the hundreds of takes to get to that one
Yeah. The
perfect take
editing.
which is I'm sure you know yung editing and the time you spent building up to that and I'm sure alam mo yan having been in the recording studio ako
Mm.
yun yung parang workflow ko in the studio improvise at the start and then end up with something composed
Yeah.
di ba
Well, to kind of going back to the lesson learned from teachers, this was kind of technical again from Bruce Saunders. So
yeah
we would submit our assignments at the end of each week, and then we chat with him. Um, 6 p.m. in Boston, 6 a.m. sa Pilipinas. So then he would critique yung mga ginagawa namin. So
so you
generally it would
record
be like,
your homework parang
yeah,
ganyan
you
okay
record your homework, send it, and then you can ask him stuff, and he will type in his comments then. So ganyan ganyan. So there was one. It was a series of descending 251s. The
okay
251
yeah
being, yeah,
251 yung ano cadence na 251
yeah.
parang
So
giant steps
251. Let's not even go sa giant steps. I'm still trying to learn that shit. That's why I love Coltrane.
yeah
So yung lesson was sorry, 251 tapos in a certain key for X number of bars, tas
yeah
lilipat ng tonal center, lilipat ulit siguro maybe four times, right?
yeah
So one was what he played note for note, and the other assignment was play it your way,
yeah
using all the
the
lessons that
stuff
have
you
been.
know
Yeah, ganyan. So, ganyan lang, ganyan, ganyan. So, and what he told me was, and I felt like I nailed it. Tone and phrasing and whatever. And Bruce said, um, you have an excellent heavy jazz swing feel,
nice
but your note choices, you sound like a rock guitar player trying to play jazz, which is which is what I am. But it's a very important lesson that he pointed out. Parang, okay, you understand the phrasing, but your note choices,
rock pa rin yung
you
note
followed,
choices mo.
yeah, I followed na, okay, minor seven arpeggio, uh, the, the 251. The first is a minor seven arpeggio. The second one is the fifth, the dominant arpeggio,
Yeah,
and variations, and then you resolve to the
back to the
the
one.
major seven tonic, and then you
Yeah.
magmodulate. So I was just following.
So kumaga just outlining the
I was just
chords.
outlining. My phrasing was there, spot on, sabi niya, but your note choices were. And anyway, after those lessons, screwed up my rock guitar playing because all these things that I learned from a jazz perspective, my rock solos were became messed up after that. Dahil I was thinking too much na eh. This
Oo.
newfound
So
knowledge.
parang ano ka pa rin sa jazz phrasing mindset pero kailangan mo na tumugtog ng salamat. So iba na yung dating niya.
Right, yeah. And then the result was a spectacular mess.
But in watching some of your solos, I watched some of your solos on YouTube. Nakita ko ba din na you incorporate like yung grace note sliding into
Oh
the
yeah.
tone, which is a hallmark of jazz guitar. So it parang siguro you took the what you learned in jazz and kind of applied it to your own. Kumbaga,
Yeah,
in-apply mo
yeah.
doon sa context na kailangan mo, the context within which you're working,
Yeah. And
which
the
I
and the
which I
reason why.
find makes you unique among the guitar players. I know it makes you different from Perf, different from Ira, 'di ba? Kasi and
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
appreciate.
It's nice that you're hearing that now, but if you heard me when I was fresh from the Berkeley lessons, and reconciling with how I play as a rock guitar player, yung because naghalo kasi yung the intellectual, the theoretical, and to a
Yeah,
degree the visceral stuff that I love, because I really love jazz.
same.
And but I wasn't quite there yet, because, dude, at the end of the day, I'm a rock guitar player. My roots are in metal, actually. Um,
Same.
so yung alam mo yung it was that weird period of trying to reconcile everything.
Oo.
I'm glad that you mentioned what you just mentioned, which means na I'm probably properly incorporating what I learned from Berkeley into the context of how I really play, in the
Yes.
in the context of the band that I play with, because um
Yeah, I mean kasi when I hear a Francis Reyes guitar solo, it doesn't sound like my solos in that I don't you your note choice is totally different from mine. And
hmm,
there's notes that I can hear using ninths, using sixths
sure, yeah,
in
yeah.
your solos, and
I
so
love
see,
ninths, by the way. Yeah,
'di ba? Lumalabas siya, which
yeah,
gives your solos a different color from everyone else who would, like, I guess, try to improvise or create a solo. Kasi ako, in the context that I play, I'm kind of restricted to mostly modes of the major scale, or I need the pentatonic scale for this one, 'di ba? So that's what makes us different. So ang ganda niya. So which is goes to the question of si Matthew, 100% skill with 50% theory, or 100% theory with 50% skill. For
ooh,
me, theory can only help,
yeah,
'di ba? Kasi yung practice, yung skill, you can build up to that eh.
mm-hmm.
'Di ba? Like I said, hindi ako marunong mag-shred, but yun yung unti-unti ko tinatry i-build, which yung picking speed by starting slow and then building up to the speed I need to be at. So
Right,
the
yeah,
other yesterday I was trying to learn yung solo ng Rosanna ng Toto, and si Steve
mm,
Lukather yun, Lodi gumitara yun, and so
yeah,
sabi ko nga I shared with Carl kanina kasi we were learning yung blues arpeggio or yung soul arpeggio, which is just coming from the root, you use the minor, then the major third, and to the fifth, and then the octave. So sabi ko, yung mabilis na riff pala dun sa Toto, yun lang pala yun. And all these years, parang, what? How do you even do that? And yun lang pala yun. So, again,
is this the
more,
outro solo, or
hindi, yung mabilis, taranan, taranan, tan, me too, all the way, taranan, di ba yung parang may
yeah,
trumpets, and
yeah,
so di ba, like I said, more theory can only help, di ba?
yeah,
Although the flip side to that is, di ba tayo as guitarists, we're concerned a lot with the what to play, what notes to
mm-hmm.
use, what scale to use, what mode
Yeah,
to use, rather than does it serve the song, or okay ba yung rhythm ko,
yes, yes,
di ba? Isang ano din yun eh, yung rhythm is, I find, uh with some students, is easy to overlook
oh
kasi,
yeah, yeah,
'di ba? Kasi
yeah,
when you hear a guitar solo or a guitar part on a record, it's the first thing you really hear is what the notes are, and mas
Mhm.
siguro mas subtle to kind of hear what kind of rhythm is going on. So if you take AC/DC for example,
Mm.
not very many notes, pero yung rhythm, grab, talagang rock.
Yeah.
I mean, talagang ano yung rhythm nila, di ba?
In line with that,
Yeah, go ahead.
let me demonstrate.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Monray. Yan, no, nilabas na yung, yan ang, okay.
And
So this is
that's
worth
what we're here
the,
for.
yes, this is the price of admission.
Okay. One of my favorite guitar players, influences si Van Halen, and he has this piece called
R.I.P. the King.
I'm the One. Do you know that
Okay.
song?
I,
And
from which album?
the first Van Halen album.
I
And I'm
hindi. I
I'm
I
going
probably
to
have heard it.
I'm going to attempt to play it because okay, in terms of yung the notes of the opening riff, I can you hear it?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Something like it's something like that. And he does it like eh. Slowly it's something like that. But he does it
Yeah.
like okay, in terms of technique, you it's chaka chaka. There's a
Yeah,
it's a
may
fast
swing
shuffle.
siya. May swing.
May swing siya
So,
na.
yeah. Si Edward Van Halen, case in point, he's an overlooked rhythm guitar player.
Yes,
Kasi
and
kasi
that's
'di ba?
exactly my point. Yeah.
'Di ba? Kasi in a
So
three-piece band, he's playing rhythm 90% of the time and the solo is
yes,
just 5% of the song.
but
So,
when even when he's doing yung ganon, yung
kara, oh,
his sense of time is there, and it
oh,
informs even the stuff na even yung
yes,
the crazy stuff
yung
that he
phrasing niya.
does, yung pulso niya nandun pa rin eh. His
Yeah.
sense of time is there. It's impeccable.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. So ayun, so
Grabe yung,
I still don't know. I know how to play I'm the One, but I still can't play it because yung even yung
yeah.
I know the pulse, but yung I don't have the sa technique. I can do it slowly, but at that's the speed that he does it. It
Uh,
really sounds like a horn part. Eh.
yeah.
And
I think some of that has to do with hindi nga grabe yung swing niya. I think again
yeah,
some of it has to do with he was a drummer first before he switched to guitar.
yeah,
Yun yung
yeah,
story niya, 'di ba? So yung nagsimula siya mag-drums and then his brother Alex got the drums. So
yeah,
sabi niya, ano ba ako dapat yung drummer? So lumipat siya sa guitar. And the
yeah.
rest is history. Alam na natin yung nangyari, 'di ba? Grabing. So I guess some of that yung kasi ibang paano ba i-describe? Ibang mindset yung ah, ibang physicality and ibang mindset yung pagiging drummer eh.
Right.
Which is why I guess a band is only as good as its drummer. So if you
Oh
have a
yeah,
good,
yeah,
'di ba? If you have a good drummer, ang dali mag-lock on sa kanya. And di ba siguro
yeah,
added benefit sa Van Halen, mag-utol sila so talagang literal
yeah.
nasa dugo nila yung
May
rhythm.
yeah. Yung kay Matthew Lewis Rodriguez then just to add to it 100%. In okay, skill is mechanical. You can
Yeah.
practice it. You can be perfect with it. And you can hear it when any musician is puro skill, you know.
Yeah.
Really wala kang mararamdaman. It's like a circus act. Eh. Holy shit. Wow, galing galing galing. But you wake up in the morning and ang bibit-bitin mo lang is wow, ang galing, but you don't feel anything.
Yeah.
yung mga absolutely purely music theory naman, it's all intellectual na, oh, these fantastic harmonies and odd time signatures and whatever and ganyan ganyan ganyan. But and again, it it stays here din eh. It stays an intellectual exercise.
Yeah.
Uh, Someone like Frank Zappa was able to balance both. He was very intellectual, and he knew that. So binalanse niya with having titles in his songs like Titties and Beer. Yung sobrang bawal because his point was to be
Yes.
able uh,
Or
to
don't eat the
communicate.
yellow snow.
Don't need the yellow slow, right? And even that dan dan da 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 dan
Yeah.
dan. It's
Yeah.
pero
Yeah.
may bale. But for you
Si Frank
to
Zappa,
go ahead.
si Frank Zappa grabe siya. And if kung hindi niyo pa napakinggan si Frank Zappa, you will hear a direct line from him to Steve Vai, as in
Oh yeah, direct. Yeah,
sobrang rekta. If you hear
recta.
how,
Especially
di ba?
Vice first album Flexible.
So, super.
That could
It's
have
like
been
it's a mini Frank Zappa na puro
yeah,
guitar,
yeah,
'di ba?
yeah,
So, if you hear how Steve Vai constructs his chord progressions and does his guitar solos, yung
yeah.
intervals are unmistakable na hinugot niya kay Frank
Kay Zappa,
Zappa.
yeah. Yeah.
'Di ba? Super, kumbaga yung string nakakabit sa pusod niya, yung ano yung
Yeah,
string ni
yeah.
ni Frank Zappa. Sige.
Kay Matthew
Ikaw,
Lewis Rodriguez, my advice would be follow your. Hopefully, you have good musical instincts. We all like to believe that we probably have good musical instincts. Trying to write a song, trying to compose a guitar solo, whatever.
yeah.
And if you hit a roadblock, that's where theory comes in. Na parang okay, um, ito yung narinig ko, ito yung nagawa ko. Where else can I take it? And
Ano pa
then
yung
it's okay
kulang?
to go. Ano yung kulang? Maybe the trigonometry of music theory
Yeah.
can help force you at least from a cerebral perspective man lang, or from a practical perspective man lang, kind of remind you na, well, theoretically you can go in this direction. And when that window is open, try to go back to the um to to the visceral and emotional, or maybe even spiritual thing that made you
Yeah.
create that initial idea in the first place, that led to the roadblock. And
Yeah.
try to reconnect it lang. Now there are people,
Gets.
by the way, who don't have to think about it, na wow, ang complex, and then they're like see Davy Langit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just playing all these complex chords, beautiful melody on top, and I'm like, paano mo naisip yan? And he'd be like, sir, ang
Parang wala
sarap
lang
eh.
sa kanya eh.
Parang wala lang kay Davey
Yeah.
eh. You know?
Speaking to Davy Langit, ginawa namin yung song niya na dalawang letra, and binibiro namin siya na grabe naman yung song mo, parang 300 chords yung ginamit mo,
Yeah.
kasi it's tama ka, it's all it's very jazz
Mm.
flavored,
Yeah.
and there's all these key modulations,
Yeah.
pero if you listen to the melody, parang ang deceiving eh. Parang
Oh.
yung shinare ni Jazz na na Never Gonna Let You Go. Parang ang ganda ng melody, it's a
Yeah.
pop hit, but ang
Yeah.
deceiving ng melody na shit, pag tinignan mo yung key changes, there's 33 key
Right.
changes in all in the song, na parang So
Yeah.
pag tinanong sa'yo, uy, anong chords nito? Sabi mo, lahat. It has all the chords. Or isang comment dun sa YouTube was, ano yung chords nitong song na to? Hands you the circle of fifths. Kasi doon lahat eh. Ginamit na lahat, di ba? So, ang galing kasi your answer just now, Kicks, just led to my question about if you ever hit a rut, how do you get past it? And I
Oh
guess
shit.
that's one answer, kind of dive into theory. Ako naman, I'm kind of in the opposite or converse of that situation. I'm immersed in so much theory na hindi ko masyado na-apply. There's some places na apply ko siya in that maybe I can do a demo for a student, but in terms of actual songs, hindi pa.
Right.
Hopefully, coming from this experience, makasulat ako ng songs, sana. But that's a whole different, ano. Ikaw, Carl, I'm sure you felt this at the beginning, and you might still be feeling it. Nung feeling mo, shit, magigitara pa ba ako? Ano yung ginawa mo? I mean, syempre aside from taking lessons, so what is it you told yourself para maka move on ka?
Actually, it's the para I compare it to formerly being really really fat. Like I was like maybe 40 pounds. So like I was morbidly obese. And then when you start working out, parang you lose a lot of weight really fast, and then at some point you plateau. And feeling ko that's what
Oo.
guitar learning the guitar was like. Is okay, alam
Right.
parang when we started, I knew what the chords were. Di ba? Parang you start off pretty much, you know what the open chords are from high school, tambay sa kanto. But when we started learning, and it was, you know, parang expanding my guitar, my chord vocabulary, great. And then and the learning the basic scales, great. And then yung nga, ear training and all of this stuff. And then itong recent set of lessons natin became like, uh, try to do a guitar solo. So okay, and then it sounds like it's an exercise, and I'm still stuck there. I'm still stuck in the shit. Am I doing the right notes? Parang I know which notes I can go to, but I don't know yet how to do it. So actually, if we're asking about the rut, I am there, but it's more like I just have to realize that if you guys are still, if you guys are seeing people on Instagram and going, shit, magaling ba akong gitarista? Anong karapatan ko na mag-quit, di ba?
So,
Parang
I
just
was
super.
asking.
put the
I
head
was
down,
asking
keep
myself
going.
that today. So, wait.
Di ba?
Excuse me, guys. I just have to pee. It's just yeah.
O
So
sige.
carry on.
Okay,
Sandali lang to.
we break
Mute
lang
yung
si
mic
Francis.
because you'll hear the flush.
Okay. Sige. Sige, habang nagwi break
And
si Francis.
while he's on break, I will
Sige,
talk
go ahead,
about
Carl.
my experience with theory learning under you, Chino. Na parang
Sige, go.
again, everything seemed beyond me, and it's like you learn theory when it's time for you to learn theory. Parang ganon. And I do think that that's where the value of having a teacher is it becomes
Yeah.
injected when it makes sense. Parang early on, we did the Nashville number system, and that was great.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a lot of things click nung naintindihan ko yun. And then recently we started doing functional harmony, and hindi ko naman na magigets yan. Parang early on, before we started doing our lessons, I was doing YouTube and trying to watch music theory,
Oo.
circle of fifths, etc. And none of it made sense until
Yeah.
I was playing enough for it to make sense. So,
Oo.
yun, diba?
Parang yung sa theory, hi Kiko.
Yan.
Success.
Bilis. Ang bilis.
Hi, ang bilis bilis So yun. So sabi mo some things click. What was it that clicked for you recently or kahit before?
What the things that clicked were ano ba yung recent? I think we were swapping like John Mayer guitar solos. And
Yung
then
sa ano,
parang pakinggan mo to. Hindi, pakinggan mo to. Oh, yeah.
Yung last train home
Yeah,
ba yun?
Last Train Home. And then we wound up listening to other stuff. It's like, yep, parang nagpe-pentatonic lang naman siya. You know, and then there's like a little variation. He'll go into one mode or something at some point. But then it's like, wait, I can sort of understand where this is going. And then, with the ear training, it's a sitting down, listening to a song and going, using what we know of theory, it's either going here or here. Diba? And I hope that I at some point I might be able to use that to write. Diba?
Diba? So hindi na mystery kung why songs are written the way they are. And parang in your mind's ear, not your mind's eye, parang mape-predict mo na, okay, this kind of going to back to the dominant or back to the tonic, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang may ganun na pag sanay ka na enough, okay. Parang tama.
We
Kicks, we were
also have
talking.
to remember na
Yeah.
You know, we're guitar players, and actually, like for example, learning theory is normal for, let's say, a classical pianist or jazz pianist or whatever. Um, ito yung, this is just my personal observation.
Yeah.
Especially with rock guitar players, we become so obsessed with theory that we begin. It's necessary that we analyze things and go, oh, pentatonic they modulate to whatever, 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 whatever. But at the end of the day, um, you gotta take out the guitar player and the analyst, if you like, and go. Doesn't matter if it's pentatonic or harmonic minor or whatever. Yung linya na yun, oh my God, yung I can remember it, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Uh, that felt good. Um,
Yeah. Yun
and
nga din isa sa mga pino-point out ko sa ibang students. If you take a look at yung guitarists like John Mayer and Eric Clapton, what they're just using five notes. It's just the pentatonic scale.
yeah, and
Pero iba
everyone goes,
yung
oh, pentatonic lang. I know that. Take it for granted.
iba yung the way it's played versus what notes you use eh. Di
Right.
ba?
Yeah.
So if okay, I can play the same five notes as John Mayer, but no one else can play it the way John
Yes.
Mayer does. Iba yung the way he slides, the way he bends, the way he applies vibrato.
Right.
Iba siya, totally iba siya sa how you or I would play it, right?
Yeah.
So so may question from my bandmate Jazz for Kiko. You've been in the Dawn as both mag-isang gitarista and dalawang
And dalawang.
gitarista. Which do you prefer? What's the difference in terms of band dynamics and arrangement? I think you answered this dun sa pinag-usapan nyo ni Perf to eh. But sige, I'll allow you to kind of expound on this. We're coming up on an hour and a half. Are you still good to talk after this?
How many hours do you want?
Okay, sige, sige, go.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great question, Jazz Nicolas. um, uh, okay. Actually, kami ni Sancho have had conversations about this sort of thing. Okay, we both love The Edge. We also both love Alex Lifeson, right?
Yes, we love them.
Rush is a power trio, and The Edge is U2 is essentially a power trio with
With a
vocals.
vocalist. Yeah.
Yeah. And earlier, Chino, you mentioned about sus chords and
Yeah.
I mean, those are Lifeson, The Edge, and Andy Summers influences, eh? And of course, Andy Summers, the Police trio.
Yeah.
So using chord voicings like that, na open, even if you're not playing actually the more strings that you play, the more full body chords that you play on the guitar, the smaller it tends to sound actually.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you identify in any given chord two of the most dominant flavors of or colors of that chord, and let the bass identify the root,
Yeah. Yeah.
lumalaki yung tunog actually. But when you
Yeah.
play the entire chord, actually lumilit yung tunog in
Yeah.
a sense. And I know
find
si
na,
Sanchez thinks
sorry, just to interrupt. I find na
Yeah.
yung the closer the notes are together, mas maliit yung sound kasi they're kind of grouped
yes.
closer.
Yeah.
But so when you kind of expand into, sige, tanggalin mo na yung fifth, lagay mo
Yeah.
na yung seventh at saka ninth, dyan lumalabas
Yeah.
yung mga Lifeson-esque and mga Andy Summers-esque chords. Sorry, to
Right.
continue.
But that's also a timbral there's also a timbral consideration that we have to think about. Like for example, okay, hilabas ko na yung keyboard.
Yeah, go.
Sa keyboards kasi normally close voicing, right? Like I play a wait, let me I mean that's a G, very close,
Yeah.
right?
135.
But if you translate that sa gitara, it's nakaganon ka eh. If I do this, these those same exact notes on the guitar, actually gaganon ka ng konti eh. On keyboards they're fine, on guitar they're physically difficult, but the way the strings resonate,
Iba siya. Iba yung quality
iba
na.
eh. right? Because
Yeah.
if you play a bar chord on the guitar and translate it sa keyboard, nakaganon ka eh. You know, spread voicing yung even if it's a basic triad.
Yeah.
At bago ako masyadong lumihis, yeah, kami ni Sancho have talked about this because we are fans of, come on, let's face it, we love being the only guitar player as much as we can. Not from an no, not from an egoistic perspective, but from that sort of perspective, na you know that the harmonic information is coming from the guitar and the bass guitar lang when the singer is not singing.
Yeah.
So as a guitar player, you have to think of, making the sound open up, right? That's why I got into keyboards din eh, because keyboard voicings are, yung instant na yung mga basic chord keyboard voicings are, simple, but on guitar they're different, temporally different.
Yeah.
And lumalaki yung tunog on guitar eh. I'm very sure that Sancho has had that approach, and so do I.
Yeah.
So I'm very sure Sancho would love to be the only guitar player in the Dawn. I would love to be the only guitar player in the Dawn. But I love him so much as a person and as a guitar player
Yeah.
that we accept and acknowledge and are looking forward to the the possibilities of having two guitar players with more or less the same influences, right? We no, we're aware of the Alex Lifeson partial, that Alex Lifeson chord na you're holding it down pero may ringing open strings.
Yeah.
And if we both think that way, and if one of us is already doing that, then the other one has to kind of revoice and really flesh out that chord. So it
Yeah.
actually ends up like, siguro mas mabuti na may keyboardist na lang yung the tone. Because the keyboardist can
Babad lang siya.
flesh out and flesh out that wonderful open huge chord voicing. That's me. You have to ask Sancho how he feels, but I know that we both appreciate, especially because we have some of the same sort of common influences. We understand each other
Yeah.
very well. We understand the sound that we're after for the Dawn. Eh. In terms
Gets.
of arrangement, sorry, masyado mahaba yung sagot.
No, go lang, go lang, go lang.
Yeah, lately, I think our modus would be if Sancho comes up with a riff or a progression, and the Dawn writes the song around it or the arrangement around it or whatever, kumbaga, we follow that. So I have to figure out, okay, I can either replicate what he does or complement it, harmonize with it
Yeah.
or do a contrasting part, but harmonically still swak pa rin, right?
Yeah.
And I think he does the same. When with our new song, I ended up playing keyboards and guitar and kind of went hog wild because it's the pandemic and I have so much time in my hands. Oh, ganda nun, ganda, ganda, ganda. And I felt bad when he said, "Medyo busog na eh. Ito na lang yung idadagdag ko." I kind of felt
Gets,
bad
gets.
because
Uh,
so yun, at least for me, especially with our new song, whatever, I I I try. I have to really hold back and go.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, the oh, sorry. Yung ganon. Oh, that sounds great on keyboard. Oh, that also sounds great on guitar. And on guitar, ganon, 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 ganon. I really have to stop myself. Um, because at least for the next songs, para you know, um, any given chord progression, actually any given chord, there's many ways to voice it. There's many ways to attack it. There's
Yeah.
maraming POV. Eh, You know what I mean?
Gets. Ngayon
Yeah.
ko lang ulit narinig yung term na busog na. Si Angie lang yung narinig ko dati ng term na busog na.
Yeah.
So I guess to yung question ni Jazz. So nag-uusap pa rin talaga kayo ni Sancha na I take the solo here or I take the rhythm part here. Does it work that way?
We don't really talk in that
So
regard. You know,
so parang pakiramdaman kayo.
pakiramdam, he'll go, uy, uy, ang sarap niya, ganyan, ganyan. Ito yung kicks, okay ba to? And I'll do the same thing. Ganyan.
Okay.
Yung, like, one of our songs, I'm forgetting the title. He did the main riff, dan, 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 ganun yung pattern more
Yeah.
or less. Then I said, okay, so I'm going to do this. It's a sixth chord. Okay ba sa'yo?
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay yan.
Okay.
Then great. It's a
Cool.
matter of whoever comes up with something, react na lang yung isa, and that's absolutely fine. As long
Yeah,
as
so
Jet is comfortable singing with whatever shit.
over what you're playing. So
Yeah.
sa
Dahil
akin
pag
kasi
si Jet, pag gumanon si Jet na naguguluhan
Bane
ako,
yun.
Sancho,
Gets.
usap ulit tayo.
So I've been listening to the later songs of the Dawn, and in sonically kayo ni Sancho sobrang magkalapit nung sound ninyo. So
Right.
parang for me parang benefit din for you guys to have two guitarists with the similar sound kasi you can kind of both fade in and fade to the front
Right.
kapag
Yeah. Yeah.
kailangan. And
Yeah.
ang rinig nga din talaga na ang busog nung sound even if you're both doing high stuff or both doing low stuff.
Yeah.
So
With all due
parang
respect to Atsushi Matsura, by the way,
yeah.
our styles were absolutely different. Even we share the same metal roots, right?
Oo.
Pero kami ni Sancho, para kami betlog eh. You know, yung
B1 B2.
B1, B2. Minsan,
Minsan
ito
isa
yung
yung mas
nakababa.
mataas, isa ganyan.
Tapos pag malamig, you know, parang, you know,
That's a good analogy.
yeah,
Good analogy.
yeah. Sorry.
Sa mga to the ladies in the room, but
Yeah.
but so from my experience kami sa Worms, parang ganun din kami ni Jules kasi as the two guitarists in the band, medyo similar din yung sound namin in that we both use strats, but yung I guess yung difference is I have to play around him in that because he has to sing most of the time. He
Right,
gravitates towards yung mga first position chord. So I have to find voicings higher up in the fretboard or do like a single note figure to complement what he's doing kasi hindi naman din siya palagi pwede mag leads like you guys have a singer in the Dawn, so both of you are free to
Yeah.
come
Right.
up,
Yeah.
be as creative as you want with your guitar parts. So sa amin kasi there's the limitation na okay, Jugs has to sing or
Yeah.
sometimes he plays the piano, and there's really songs don't really call for yung very complex guitar parts. So
Yeah.
it's on me to find alternate voicings for standard chords kumbaga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ang ganda nung pakiramdaman kayo parang betlog lang.
Yeah. I mean, you know, minsan pantay, minsan hindi, but you're part of the
Part of the same sack.
yeah. I mean, sorry, I love Sushi, I love I love Sancho, but from a musical perspective, mas madali at mas masarap kausap si Sancho, even if we don't actually talk about the parts eh.
Yeah.
Right? We kind of know na there may be moments where we think alike because we do share some of the same influences, and
Yeah.
there be moments na hindi, pero nagkakaintindihan pa rin kami because
Yeah.
we'll still go to our common reference point somehow and take it from there.
Yeah.
You know.
Galing. Awesome. Sige, so we have two questions left before we wrap up the show. Sige, so ba to? Sige, so we're done with the have you ever hit a rut. Sige, so is there is there a technique or trick that you use on the guitar na you can call your dirty secret na, oh, ito lang yan eh. Pero it sounds more complex than it is.
I don't think I have one.
Or,
Ay,
sige, for me, ako, I'll start it off siguro para may maanuhan kayo. So for me, it's kind of two things. So one is the pentatonic scale. So almost all my solos, kung try nyo si Fry, it's just the pentatonic scale with the two other notes in the major scale thrown in. And then the other one is the delay. I think si Kicks, ikaw din favorite mo rin yung delay. So dun
yeah,
sa
kami ni Sancho. Yeah.
yeah. So for some songs to make it sound a bit more complex. Sige, so ako naman yung demo.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
You are
Yan.
the teacher. Come on.
Yan. So uy, may reverb.
May reverb.
May reverb. So di ba yung delay like the Artito, the Edge, yung delay kind of sounds makes it sound a bit more complex. So if you like have
Right. Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
diba? So yung stuff like that na I use a delay on sa gusto ko lamang sa buhay, and we do a version of overdrive na ginagamit ko rin yung delay na I just steal yung technique na yung ni Edge na ay, di pala masyado mabagal. So it sounds like more notes than you're really playing. So pag tinanggal ko yung
Right.
delay, ito lang siya eh.
Yeah.
Pero pag may delay na, parang shit, tanggal ni Chino, di ba? Di ba parang sa ano, parang sa In the Name of Love, that yun yung effect na ginagamit niya. So, yun, those are my dirty secrets, techniques.
Okay. Sige. I'll show something. Sige.
Yan. I'll show you something.
Yeah, when I was in high school, there was a hit song called "I'll show you yours, you'll show me mine." I hope I hope nobody
Ano yun?
nobody ever.
Ano yun?
Wag na.
Okay. Okay. Before my time.
Yeah. Um. Wait. Patayin ko lang yung distortion.
Sige, go lang. So, yan, di ba favorite natin yung delay tayo nila Sancho? Si Sancho yung tinaguri ang the edge of UP Diliman nung araw.
Yeah.
Ano, no?
Delay lang. Nalagyan ko ba ng delay o hindi? Dire.
Go lang.
Okay.
Yun, no? Oh my gosh, it's the sound.
Currently, the Dawn is working on a collaborative song.
Yeah.
Hindi kami nagsulat. But we wanted to do it dahil it felt like maybe it could be a Dawn song. Now,
Okay.
the chords go like this. I'll turn off the delay first.
Sige. Sumabit na.
Shit.
Helix ba yan, Tito Kicks?
No, si Sancho naka-helix, naka-HX effects na ako.
Okay. HX Stomp.
No, walang
Ay.
amps in yung ano eh. Yung
Okay.
The HX effects is purely yung effects lang because yun nga.
So, Stomp,
commit
yan yung
ako-
Stomp Box Modeler.
Yeah, and it's absolutely incredible. And the great thing is about the the Line 6 HX Helix family is ano eh. They upgrade the firmware so bigla na lang, oh, we have a new effect.
Wow.
Buti na lang si Sancho because he has a Helix, so there's a new amp model there's a new ganyan ganyan which I have no access to.
Yeah.
But at least the retro reel whatever. Well, anyway,
Sige, so the song you're working on with the Don,
yeah.
yung
So the
collab.
chords are.
Ooh,
And
interesting.
it's it's C sharp, B, F, suppose F sharp and F sharp minor. Although the bass, yung bass at least dun sa demo recording is actually C sharp, B flat, A. So
Ooh.
initially yung chords, I thought the chords were B, sorry, C sharp, B, in my head, B minor 7, and then A major 7. Oh shit, mali. Whatever. Ganyan.
Yeah.
Ganyan. Tapos sabi ko kay Sancho,
Makes
tama ba yung
sense.
chords ko? Then he said, then I was like, oh wait, okay. The chords that I thought were the chords are actually inversions of the actual
Tama.
chords. So,
Tama.
hindi mo, but pero yung there are certain notes in the voicing, and of course, like, you're not hearing the melody now. Na if I did what I thought the chord voicings were, hindi naman sa bumabangga sa melody, but it wasn't complementing the melody,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, so ito yung
So yan pala
as
yung
opposed
totoong
to
chords.
right. That's what I was doing. So I learned and then I had to figure out how to make it interesting, because for me, if I just went um it's kind of, you've heard it all before,
Yeah, it
and
sounds
so
stuck.
stock, yeah. So actually nagpadala ako ng guitar tracks, which this is what I do instead of going, and if I can give any advice, if the
Go.
chord is a bar chord, you don't have to play the entire bar chord. It depends on the song, of course, but what I would do is just use 3 notes that identify that chord. So instead of,
Mismo.
I would go, which is very different. Well, not very different, but it's like you have the bass, you have the chord voicing, and everything. We have a bass player, so on guitar, let me just do
Oh,
and it's
may Sancho ka pa. May keyboard player ka pa.
exactly. So the character is different. So instead of I and this is my normal route, by the way. Whenever possible, I won't play the entire bar chord. I'll choose notes within the chord and go. And it
Ooh.
sounds different from. Iba, right?
Nice. I was kind of actually
Then
working on something like that then. Pero go ahead to finish your thought.
yeah, and then of course, because I have effects, might as well use effects.
Yeah.
No, I use effects. The yung effects kasi it gives you a different feeling, right? Yeah, reverb
Yes.
makes it sound distant, delay. Okay. So I don't know if we're going to use this sound, if because Sancho's the producer for this collaborative single, so it's up to him if he wants to use. But I came up
Yeah.
also with.
Ooh.
So I shit. So kanina yung then. So now with effects, it sounds like
Yun na yung the dawn sound. That's the sound.
so I did that. Then it's like, okay, ano pang ibang pwedeng kulay without deviating too much from ano you
Kumbaga yung
can't
essence
introduce
niya.
you can't introduce altered harmonies because it's gonna parang wow pa deep or whatever or pa jazz or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Sancho will use this as a mix, but so from okay si C sharp from here binawasan ko to this,
Yeah, so
then
yung triad
tinanggal
sa
ko
gitna.
si right, then I remove the major third, so it's just the root and
The fifth. That's the fifth.
yeah, diba? It's very the edge, right? Right,
Yan.
right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Edge approach. I could for the next chord I could have done the same thing. Bury the edge, right?
Yeah.
But for the second chord, instead of doing that, I use the same approach, double stop, but it's
Ooh.
it's C sharp to B. So C sharp to B. Now with double stops, na iba yung intervals without actually deviating from those basic chords, right?
Yeah.
But it's essentially it's and for the F sharp, I used this voicing, but applied the same two strings lang for the chord. So from it became and the part that I hope will be used because yeah. And again I didn't change anything. I stuck to the very big. So and then oh shit, sorry. So what I just played is theoretically
Yeah.
exactly the same as and
But it sounds totally different.
yeah and whenever I've had people ask me, oh, do you have to learn the modes? And yes, you have to learn the modes, but when you think you don't know much, how much do you know? There's so much that you can do with whatever you already know. It's
Yeah.
just a
With
matter of
tools at
looking.
your disposal na.
Yes, bahala ka na how you want to play it, how you want. Because really, or sige, gawin nating basic, a basic D chord, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just play the root, and it's still kind of close. Let's
Yeah.
just play. Just because you're holding down, let's say a bar chord or an open chord, doesn't mean you have to play the entire chord. You can
Yeah.
just play. Or
Gets. Yan.
it's
So
economy of ideas, eh.
yeah. So ang
And
takeaway ko
I
from
can't
this
stress
one
that
is
enough.
yeah.
Okay.
So ang takeaway ko from this one is okay, you can use your normal chords but use fragments of that chord. So instead of
Yeah.
the whole six strings of something, gamitin mo yung tatlo or in your
Yeah.
case dalawa lang. para
Yeah.
mahanap mo yung essence ng sound. I was kind of working on something like this and parang gift ko to kay Jazz kasi sa Di na Muli, I I kept using yung stock na chords na malaki. Yan, 6-string chords.
Yeah.
So, yung bridge ng Di na Muli goes na 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 na
Yeah.
na
Right.
na. So, yung okay, tama yung chords. But I watched someone on YouTube saying na if you can avoid playing yung bar chords kasi yun nga, it sounds cowboy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
parang regular eh. So, inisipan ko ng voicings yung chords na yun, staying just on the same 3 strings. So, basically just using 3 notes for all the
Right.
chords.
Yeah.
So, I came up with, so ito yung, mali na kagad. Yan. So,
Yeah.
three,
Yeah.
yan. So, three notes lang for all the chords and it sounds a bit more musical kasi kita mo ascending siya na figure na eh. Just
Right. Yeah.
doing, Carl, ano lang, cage system fragments lang. So, yan.
Yeah.
So, itong tatlo, E flat, E, C sharp, B. So, itong tatlo na to, parang part of an F sharp, ay,
Yes.
F sharp diminished.
Yeah.
Tapos, C sharp minor, then back to, ano ba to? G sharp, F sharp pala. Yun, so, parang similar din to this approach mo, but instead of just 2 notes, what are the 3 notes nga that give you the essence of the
Right.
chord? And we
Yeah.
were learning then, I was learning din yung extension chords, yung extended dominants. So, yung ninths and 13ths, di ba, Carl? So, if there's notes you can omit, so for example, okay, ito yung D9 mo. So sometimes the first note to go is the 5th. Or dito in the case of the 13th, ito wala tong root. But this cluster is also half diminished.
Right.
Diba? Pero pag dagdag mo yung G13 siya. Ay, sorry,
Yeah.
G9 pala siya. So
Yeah.
dito, root, 7th, 3rd, and then this is the 6th. Walang 5th. Although pwede rin. But this is how you sound jazz. Diba? Yan. So, yung mga cool things like that. Awesome. Thanks for that, Kicks. So, sige, one last...
Yeah, yung advice lang
Yeah.
is, I guess, it's important to learn all of these things, but don't ever feel that you can come up with something. Don't ever feel that you can't come up with something interesting because konti lang yung alam mo. This is why your imagination is very important. Eh.
Yeah.
I firmly believe. Well, I firmly believe, and I'm also constantly reminding myself that whatever knowledge and technique I may have right now is enough for me to make music. We were talking earlier about well, like for example, si Joko Rintaso. I mean, that kid
Super
is
galing.
freaking fantastic, and I love the way he plays. I love yung progressions and whatever. And sometimes I would watch him and go, that's my goal. Yung technically precise and also melodically ang sarap ganyan. And then
Guitar
afterwards I'd
goals.
feel bad. I'd feel bad and go, then I'd try it on my guitar and bakit wala dito? Mas
Same.
matanda ako dyan eh. Alam ko yung ginagawa niya pero bakit wala rito? And
Yeah.
then it's like, for whatever reason, it's natural for him.
Yeah.
And there are things that are natural for me which are not that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have to keep reminding myself na, I still want to learn how he does it,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be to the point where um, I'm thinking of myself as a shitty guitar player because I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Totally.
Um, so and it all boils down to, again, reminding myself that, the most important thing is, as musicians, doesn't matter what you play, keyboards, drums, bass, guitar, whatever. Um, Madaling kumopya, actually, and actually mas madali to be yourself, but when you're trying to learn stuff, the first thing you do is to deny yourself your own voice. It's simple, but it's complicated. You know what I mean? Kumbaga,
Yeah.
all of us individually, alam natin yung gusto natin maging tunog. Whether it's based on a style or styles of our heroes or not. Um, at the end of the day, like what si Carl said, um, everyone was saying, yo, yung SG yung bagay sa'yo. But for he himself, he went, no, this particular strat makes me feel like I'm home. Makes him feel na whatever I'm gonna do with this, it's going to be him. It's going to express um, who he is, as a guitar player, and on a slightly deeper level as a person. And
Wow.
honestly,
Amen.
these are the things that I want to remind everybody about, because it's the sort of thing that I keep trying to remind myself about whenever I feel insecure about someone that I admire, and go, wait, that's his or her thing. Try to learn that, try to learn from that, but don't deny yourself your own thing. Whatever limitations that you have, your limitations actually define your
Yeah.
personality. Um, we don't we don't all have to be shredders. We don't all have to be virtuosos. We can try. We can shoot for that. But at the end of the day, what matters is, are you communicating with someone outside of yourself? And secondly, are you communicating it in a way that's unique to you? And but barring all of that, yung nakinig, naapektuhan ba sila? Because
Yun.
if they can't, like what I said earlier, you can be impressed, you can be gobsmacked, like a circus demonstration or an athletic thing. These things extend the possibilities of what's physically possible. But
Yeah.
what really matters is when you wake up in the morning, kung ano yung narinig mo fresh kagabi, you wake up and you feel a certain way, and then you wake up in the morning and go, you're still feeling it, you're still carrying it
Yeah.
in your heart. It's putting a lump in your throat, or it's making you clench your fist. But if it's just making you go, oh, galing talaga ni ganon, and you wake up in the morning, oh, galing talaga ni, oh, galing, ang galing, and then you carry on and have your breakfast. That's fine. There's value in that, but that's mechanical. Pero yung maapekto mo yung tao, whether it's a 64th note, odd meter run legato style or whatever, or two or three notes na ganyan, it's different for everyone. But yung resulta na naramdaman ko yun, ang
Yeah.
sarap nun, naramdaman ko yun, napayak ako dun, natawa ako dun,
Yeah.
you wake up in the
Mm.
morning and go, I want to get that feeling again. Natawa ako, naluha ako, naiyak, whatever it is. And there's many ways to technically to get around that, but when we lock ourselves into the kailangan siguro ganito, technically, digitally, whatever.
Oo.
Um,
I
you
guess
know,
you can get trapped into yun nga as guitarist what and how. Pero
yeah, and that's
which makes
fine. The nuts and bolts, that's
oh,
fine. Yeah,
but I guess don't you're what you're saying is one, pat yourself on the back sometimes and don't lose sight
yeah,
of the song and don't
yeah,
lose sight of having fun.
yeah,
Tama?
yeah.
Okay. So you kind of answered my last question. So I'm gonna pose the same question to Carl. So Carl, in your stage, kasi kami ni Kix, we've kind of been on the journey a relatively long time compared to you. So you've been on the guitar journey a short time pa lang. So at your stage in kumbaga at your level and stage in playing the guitar and learning the instrument, what is it you can say to people who want to take up the instrument or are currently kumbaga into the same thing as you? What can you tell them in terms of your experience as of the moment?
So I consider myself like a pandemic guitarist. Yung one of the people who picked it up to, uh, to cope, to figure out how to deal with the situation. In the first few months, it was to be able to do something that was not related. Kasi there was a great parang comfort in taking up something that forced me to put my phone down. You put your phone down. You can't play guitar and look at your phone. You can't, diba?
Yeah.
Um, and then when you're playing guitar,
Well,
whether
depende, depende.
well, wow, sobrang
Joke lang.
skilled. Depends on if you're playing players. And then
Joke lang.
Baka si Kicks
um,
kaya.
I mean,
No, actually, I can't. Sorry, sorry.
Ako, hindi, hindi rin kaya. Hindi kaya.
oo nga, nagulat ako. Kailangan ba may Empress? Kaya ba pag may ganun? Um, and then just the joy of say learning songs and being able to play along to them was something. And so I think if people are thinking about picking up the guitar, we've given some good advice about purchasing, pero yung just starting. And then this is also connected to that other question of what's your secret, yung parang the secret sauce. My secret sauce is um parang being willing to suck at something for a long time,
Yan.
and
Yeah.
to
Ah,
just not
yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Diba? No one starts off like, I'm sure some of us have certain things that we felt we were naturally talented at, and then we gravitated towards. But if it's something na I think kasi medyo weirdly philosophical na, but we've reached a point where we think that we need to be rewarded for the things we do, and then the things that we don't do well, ayaw natin i-post because it doesn't look as good, or we're not as good as other people or whatever. Pero ako parang, I have all of that dumb stuff in my head with with the normal things I do with my writing, with my work and on. So kung yun I allow it to enter the guitar pa, parang hindi na. Like the guitar is my safe space where I can be really bad, where I can just make noise, and I can have some joy in making sounds that I didn't know I could make or whatever, or learning piecing together songs, trying to build myself toward a point of proficiency. And so it's at this point that there's no better time, kasi ano pa bang ginagawa natin, like
It's not
we're
like may
still,
lakad tayo every day.
diba? We're stuck. We're still stuck at home kahit ma-vaccinate
Yeah.
kasi wala ka namang ka-gimmick.
Yeah.
So, um, so it's, if there were a time, it's now. And then when you go in with that yung learner mentality, that like after tonight's conversation where you guys talk about being insecure, parang hindi ko lang mag-gets. Hindi ko gets kasi. Parang, well, you guys are my guitar heroes. Tas kayo na insecure to somebody. So then the next thing is, well, everybody will always just have that other next step in their journey. And so that's
Yeah.
why wala siyang final point, and it's just the journey, and we're all on it. And so if they're thinking about it, then get get on the journey, like get started. It's not
Yeah.
too late. Bilang ako ay matanda na and I started.
Yeah. So parang in-echo mo yung if anyone watched yung Dave Grohl na ano na na Facebook post niya, parang sabi niya embrace the
Yeah,
suck.
yeah.
Be prepared to suck for some for some time. Pero yun nga pareho din yung pinatunguhan mo, don't lose sight of what makes it fun for you, 'di ba? So tama ka, yung safe space din yung guitar na this is okay, this is something I can control and I can build towards a certain proficiency. I can become good at this given enough time, 'di ba? So um yeah. Sige, so that was my last question. So I want to thank you both for doing this today. Thank you for celebrating the 1 year with me.
Congrats
Um
and thank you.
so in take some time to the people who are still watching, promote what it is you have going on in your professional career, etc., that things worth promoting. Carl, can you go first?
So uh, Puma Podcast is a podcasting and audio production company, and we make a newscast called Teka Teka News. And we just launched a new show today called Bago ang Lahat, which is about um, inspiring leaders in Philippine history and the present. So
Right.
you go to the Puma Podcast Facebook. Si Chino actually ay the guy who turned me onto the presidential podcast, which is one of the inspirations of
Ganda,
Bago ang
no?
Lahat. Yeah. So umikot. So
Galing.
you can get a sense of all of our pods dun sa Puma Podcast on the Facebook page. Thank you.
Yeah. So ang favorite ko sa Puma Podcast is syempre yung Puma Podcast na main pod, and there's Teka Teka, and then recently yung yung Super Evil, which they did in partnership with Inquirer.
Thanks.
Sobrang nahook ako doon sa series na yun ng podcast. So the Puma podcasts are available wherever you listen to your podcast. So meron sa Spotify, tama, meron sa Google
Yes.
Podcasts
Spotify,
and
Apple, Stitcher,
Apple
Anchor,
Music,
and all other ganyan.
yan, and all that jazz. Oh no, nawala si Tito Kicks. Bakit siya nawala? Magre-reconnect daw siya. Okay, so while waiting for Tito Kicks, I want to thank everyone who's still here. We will just wait for Tito Kicks to come back before Matthew, hindi to podcast, kunyaring podcast lang to. Pero maybe we can do something like this again sometime soon. Mukhang nag-enjoy kayo, ha. Actually ako nag-enjoy ako, Carl. Kasi yung sarap ng usapan when it's all guitarists.
Ako, I had fun kahit na minsan parang why am I wala yata akong input dito sa
meron naman. No,
But
yun.
this was fun.
Yeah, super fun. And sino ba yung mga may ibang questions? Luthier na may recommend. Si Mixis, he was the last guy I asked to fix my guitars. Affordable, pero yung shop niya nasa Paranaque. I'm not sure if he's working. Last I heard kasi he went on a hiatus to fix. Pero galing nung pag-ayos niya. And then may mga questions dito we haven't addressed. And si Tito Kicks.
Yun.
Hi Tito Kicks are back. So
Yeah, sorry. I was having. There was horrible.
parang may feedback, no?
Mm.
Yeah, sobra. And there was a lot of things that Carl said. I have no idea kung anong sinabi niya. So yeah.
I was saying he kind of went back to your point then, was be prepared to kind of suck for a while, but then
Oh
like you
yeah.
said, don't lose sight of what makes it fun for you, kasi in the
Yeah.
end yun lang yung stick sa'yo to something, lalo na tayo I mean it's an instrument we love, but sometimes we might hate it kasi I'm not improving, it's not fun today, di ba? So
Yeah.
yun nga, sabi ko, I pat yourself on the back then sometimes.
On those days, I turn up the gain and I play some AC/DC, and I
Yeah,
remind
play
myself that
the
sometimes that's all that matters.
yeah, play the good
And I
old
think
power
um
chords.
when kami ni Perf nag-uusap, we're talking about those days when you're practicing or playing and then it yung parang nabubwisit ka, then put down the guitar. Do something
Yeah.
else. Watch
Yeah.
a movie.
Relax, see a movie.
Relax. If you have a
Have a
pet,
snack.
play with your pet. Don't even think about the guitar. Don't even
Yeah.
think about music. Just do something else because um there are people who can do the Steve Vai 10-hour daily workout, and that's fine. Great for
Yeah.
them. I know I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I and freaking love Steve Vai, you know.
Yes. Same. Same.
But yet, but I'm not Steve Vai, and I'm not one of those people who are biologically like Steve Vai for
Oo nga eh.
whatever.
I, di ba, I
You
like to
know,
say to some students na, okay, if you look at someone like Steve Var or Ingve or Eric Johnson, sabi ko, they're freaks. They're not normal. Di ba?
yeah.
So, while we can aspire to something like that, wag,
And we have
kumbaga,
to keep inspiring. That's
yeah,
you know,
but kumbaga, stay humble, be grounded, and kumbaga, play to your strengths, I guess. That's one way you can go. Right?
yeah, yeah.
So, so
I
Tito,
mean, look, obviously one of my biggest heroes is the Edge, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I can say something like, well, can the Edge do two-handed tapping and not even on the same string, but yung ganyan? Of course he can't.
yeah,
Or maybe he can, but
di lang
but
na
he
ginagawa.
chose not to.
Yeah,
Because ibang direction yung pinuntahan niya, and yung direction na pinuntahan niya affected my guitar life and my life, which is more important, actually.
yeah,
So, and there will be moments in when you feel like you've superseded your heroes technically, but they will always be your heroes because the reason why you're doing this in the first place is because they showed you the way, you know,
yan.
and they showed you the way because just like them, because you love music,
Yun.
because it's fun, and even I'm very sure even our heroes have moments of why am I doing this? You know,
Yeah, may moments of doubt. So on that note, Tito Kicks, I would like to thank you for doing this again, and thank you for,
dude,
in your
anytime.
words, showing me the way very early on. By the way,
Um,
yung intro ng alam ko alam nyo, hindi ko pa rin ma-figure out hanggang ngayon. So
let me
I
show
have to
you.
pick I have to pick your brain on that. Oh, sige,
No, no,
pwede, game.
I'll show you now.
Sige,
Since
sige, sige,
we're
sige.
here,
Sige.
let me just turn off a few effects.
Okay. Sige. So yung alam ko alam nyo, yan yung isa sa mga singles nun sa Hearts Thunder na album ng The Dawn noong 1990.
Yeah,
Meaning Noong Araw.
yeah, that was the album when I first joined the Dawn.
Exactly. Which I said kind of coincided with my starting to learn the guitar. So these are kind of the first riffs I heard na I was aware that there was a guitar in the music.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought it up. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but to also help kind of illustrate how I think about guitar voicings and whatever. Yung uh, kayong mga nakakabata. If you can find yung alam ko alam nyo somehow on Spotify or whatever. That's from the Heartstander album released in 1990. That was my first recording with the Dawn. Now, personally, at that time, 1990, so the so-called grunge thing wasn't there yet. Um, and the glam metal thing, metal and new wave, which is basically where I was coming from, was kind of tapering down. And at that point, I was absolutely in love with Living Color and Vernon Reid because Vernon Reid did funk and metal and jazz and whatever the stuff that I like and the stuff that I didn't quite understand.
Yeah.
but the chords came from si Junboy because Junboy, the
Oh,
Don's drummer, he's a fantastic keyboardist. He's,
okay. Today,
you know,
today I learned na keyboardist pala si Juneboy.
yeah. So yung okay, yung chords na um okay, nakikita naman. So
Yeah, kita naman.
it's on guitar. This is basically a G5, a G power chord. There goes to an F major triad.
Okay.
That's an E flat major 7. So
Okay. So G, F, and then E flat major 7. And then,
I didn't know what to call this chord before, but
what are you pressing
so
there?
A D um F B flat. And if
Oh,
you're
okay.
thinking in terms of yung of an A major 7 chord, para siyang A minor suspended 7. I don't know what to call that chord. It's a funk chord.
Oo. But it
Okay?
sounds
So
really, maganda siya pag naka-sustain ng ganun. Ganda.
right. Anyway, that chord sequence that came from Junboy.
Nice.
So and then these chords also came from Junboy on keyboard. Wait. We haven't played this well because of the pandemic. I'm forgetting the.
Okay lang.
Wait. So okay.
Ganda,
So
ganda.
this that's an A minor add 9
Oo, tama.
and then a B flat add 9. B flat. I'm yeah.
Ganda.
So
I love it.
and of course he does it on keyboard. So ito. So I'm playing the core components of the chord. Okay, it's a minor chord. The A minor. It's a minor chord with an add 9, and the B flat is a B flat with an add 9. By the way, um, I'm sure tinuro ni Chino to a B9 and uh, a ninth chord is different from an add 9 chord, which is different from a major 9 chord, which is different from
Yeah.
a minor. Yeah. So ganun. So when we were figuring out the songs, and I'm like, oh, what are those chords? And then I would watch him play it on keyboard and go, those are the notes, and ganyan. So on keyboard they would sound different, but on guitar, how I translated it was. Oh, I forgot about that one. This chord
Yun.
is a um technically it's parang D minor suspended. Yeah, it's a D minor sus or D7 sus, and whether it's called a D minor 7 sus or a D7 sus depends on um kung ano yung chord progression, and honestly I don't
Yeah.
even think about that. All I know is it's that. So yeah, and
Ganda.
and and that
Ganda.
thing then And the Vernon Reid thing is the
Yeah, yung funk thing niya.
I hit the wrong chord there. Doesn't matter.
That's okay.
Uh,
Ganda pa rin. So yan
yeah.
yung
Basta,
nights na sinasabi kong paborito ko sa'yo eh.
I love Nights. Basta that's Andy Summers influence
Yeah, that's the
and the
influence.
edge and the sus for which is
Yeah.
also yung that song from Crowd House yung
Don't Dream It's Over.
yeah. Eh? I'm doing it wrong, but
Yeah.
you get me.
Sige, thank you Tito Kicks for that. Ang ganda sobra. So that's part of my childhood mystery solved. Sige. So take this moment to promote what's going on with you. Are you still doing the toaster roast or hindi na?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, right before our live thing, we were discussing yung Toaster Roast season 3. It's going to be a little different because first 2 seasons we were doing it on Facebook. We're going to go to Spotify. There's a lot of things that we're experimenting with this. So
Yeah.
we are preparing for season 3, and it will be slightly different presentation wise, but the spirit will remain the same, which is send over your material and Kim and I will either toast or roast, but at the end of the day hopefully give practical advice, and we will have our usual guest commentators, and because
Nice.
we had see Jugs before, and it was wonderful, by the way, because Jugs had a keyboard right behind him, and when he was explaining na baka pwede ganito, paano kasi ganyan.
Wow.
That was
cool. Ay, hindi ko ata napanood yung episode na yun. I think I should watch that.
Hindi, wag na lang.
Sige, so
Yeah.
nagre-request si Jazz na medyo extend natin. Paki-demo daw nung chords lang talaga naman. That's one other song na paborito ko din. Thank you,
Okay,
Jazz. I'm
yeah.
glad you like this fun thing.
Yung okay, there's 2 versions of talaga naman, so I don't know which version Jazz is referring to. If Jazz is referring to the original version nung 1994,
You're the one who wrote that, right?
nope,
Ay, sino ba?
it's the bass player who wrote the
Oh,
chords.
si
Si Carlos Balcells wrote the
Carlos?
chords.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And he was like, "Oh, guys, it's the song." So he was strumming it on an acoustic guitar, and I tried, and Carlos was like, "It doesn't feel." I was doing the chords right. It doesn't feel right. Then and then we decided sa recording, okay,
Siya na lang.
you play the guitar, and I'll play the bass. So I play the the bass guitar. Nag-switch places kami. At least on the original recording, and it's our favorite chord, the add 9. People power na sa'yo.
Yun, no?
And then
This is C add 9. Tama ba?
A add 9, and then it goes to an A flat major 7. So I'm not sure how he right now what I'm doing is open A, E, B, open B, and then open A. So right. So there's a slight
Ganda. Yung ringing
there's
na
a
ano.
there's a brief 12 string sort of sonority, if you like, right?
Yeah.
and then the next chord is A flat minor 7.
Ganda.
The next chord is G flat minor 7. Same fingerings, and then E sus E. And then the kay
Beautiful.
dami lang nangyari. That's a D major 7. Kay dami lang nangyari.
Tapos magiging minor. D minus
Not yet.
7.
Not
Hindi
yet.
pa.
Wait. Kay dami lang nangyari. A sus A minor 7 sus. So, kay dami nang nangyari. Kay dami nang nangyari. Back to D major 7. Ikaw pa then it goes to D minor 7.
Yun. Tapos
C,
G.
then C major 7. Talaga naman.
Oh my God, ang
D
ganda.
minor 7. Yeah. But that's Carlos because yung training niya talaga is in with jazz chords and all of that.
Oh, okay.
Now when
Got it.
Buddy became the bass player of the Dawn, he wanted to revoice it. Buddy's a great keyboardist, just like si Jazz. Pag sinabi, let's do Methini's face dance in this key. Tan, 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 and then, no, let's do it in this key. Then automatic transpo, that's why I hate
Yeah.
Jazz because, Jazz Nicolas. Dahil, grabe. he can play anything
Yeah.
and it will always
I
sound
know, right?
great. Yeah, so I think yung revoiced Buddy's, the version with Buddy, yung sinuggest niyang revoicing is, wait, I don't really remember that. Parang, something like that. It was a different, instead of hitting the A add 9 again, agad from the intro, he suggested a
Yeah.
in my head it's a Lydian thing, yung
Yeah.
major sharp 4 thing. I'm forgetting the chords because we
Yeah. So
went back
kung
to
silid yan,
yeah, right,
emphasizing
yeah,
the sharp 4.
yeah. Basta dan, 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 dan. I have to listen
Yeah.
to the recording again. But that was a brilliant thing. So Jazz Nicolas, I hope your
One for
question
you.
has been answered, both
Yeah.
versions. But
Yeah.
bumalik kami dun sa, well, actually, not exactly. Dahil yung ginagawa ni Sancho ngayon, normally he would start talaga naman and never mind. Basta, he would add yung mga delays and whatever. The way we do
Yeah.
talaga naman now is very different. I mean, the chords are still the same, but the overall approach is different
Yeah.
now.
So
Best
I
of
guess
both
yun yung
worlds.
isang example of kind of reharmonizing or doing a different
Yeah.
version of the chords but keeping the essence of the song.
Yeah.
Galing. Galing.
Yeah.
Yan si Tito Buds at Tito Buds. Carl, is there anything, since in-extend na natin, sagarin natin doon sa full 3 hours. We have 15 minutes left. Pero is there something you want to ask either me or Francis?
Musical
Or
lang,
sa-
It's walang
Oo. Walang personal, love life, ganyan.
personalan.
And to the viewers, baka may iba pa kayong questions. Sagarin natin
Oh,
to 3
yeah.
hours.
What's the
Yeah.
what's the riff that the first riff you wanted to learn? Parang you heard and you're like, I want to learn guitar. I want to play that.
Oh, I love that question. Ikaw muna, China.
Actually, yung first riff na narinig ko was not even a guitar riff. It was a bass riff. So,
Yeah, Sweet Child. Yeah.
and I had no idea it was a bass riff kasi ginagawa ng classmates ko on my classmates who were a bit into the guitar na, ginagawa nila yun. So I had no idea to sa bass thing pala. But yun nga, that kind of started the journey for me. And syempre pagkatas nun yun na yung next
Yeah.
na, hey, I wanna learn that song. Kasi yun yung napapanahon noong araw. Ikaw, Tito Kicks.
Wow, yung noong araw ko is what year were you born?
Me?
Yeah,
76.
76. And okay. Uh, the first guitar player that I was ever consciously aware of was Brian May, Queen.
Yeah.
First band that I ever and still do love
Yeah. He loves
passionately.
the Brian May.
Yeah. But even back then, because I was kind of nerdy, and then the Queen album said no synthesizers, and I kind of knew what a synthesizer could do even back then. Wala namang sampling, but you know what I mean. It can be
Yeah.
a horn or a string emulation or whatever. And hearing Queen recordings, parang okay, no synthesizer. Oh, that's coming from Brian May's guitar. So it's like Brian May's was not even a guitar player for me. He was. I knew he played guitar, but he was iba, in a different.
Parang ano
So
siya, Uber musician.
right, so I didn't aspire to be a guitar player because of Brian May. Then I heard um, something like this.
Whoa.
Something really weird like that. And that was Richie Blackmore, Deep Purple, the intro to Speed King.
Oh.
And really, I went, ano yun? And when you're 14 years old, and of course the song was 10 years old at that, 11 years old at that time, 12 years old at that time, that song. But I was 14. You're beginning to grow pimples, your body's changing, and you're discovering certain parts of your body
Oy.
that you discovered can be used for other things besides, you know what I mean. And I'm not talking about the asshole. Uh, you know what I mean. Come on,
Yes, we
Uh,
know, we know.
yeah. And then so I heard that intro, and it was so wild and anarchic, and I could viscerally relate it. Yung it felt angry, exciting, and everything, right? Hi,
Si
I'm
anak ko
Tito
si
Kicks.
Maggie.
Yeah, hi Maggie. And then right after that intro was a quiet organ thing, late great John Lord, and then it went into this really simple riff.
Wow, ganda. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm forgetting the Y bar. And he would, as in, wait.
Yeah.
With yung ganun.
Yun, no?
And
Yun,
maybe
no?
and maybe that's why it's Richie Blackmore. Daran
Yeah.
daran daran that. It's so simple and
Yeah.
so visceral and
Yeah.
I mean he did Smoke on the Water, which everyone can do, and that's another
Mm-mm.
reminder of when we get lost into the let's learn the latest John Petrucci, Tosin Abasi lick or whatever. That's great for us guitar players who want to learn all of these things. But someone like Blackmore, dan 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 dan, or in my case,
Oo.
dan 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 dan. I want to learn that. I think
Yeah.
I think I can learn that. I want to do that. I want to learn that.
Yeah.
Um, so
Cool.
yun, I know it's an extremely long answer to a very simple question, but yeah, yun that riff changed, absolutely changed my life, absolutely.
Yeah.
Along with my brother showing me my the first open D chord, that was like, I want to play guitar. I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
inaantok
Nice.
na
Oh,
si Carlo. He's going like that. Oh, gumagano na siya.
so
Sorry.
there's one question I think we can end the show on.
Mm.
Sabi ni Jason, who's also my student, top 3 favorite guitar solos. Carl,
Oh
ikaw.
shit.
If there were only 3, you could pick ano yung paborito mong tatlong yun. Hard
Parang
question.
hard question. I have one that goes up fast. I'm obsessed with George Harrison solo sa something. It's so
Mm.
simple and yet it's melodic and dami. It goes all over.
Oo. Favorite ko rin yan. That's also my, I guess, my top 1 favorite solo.
Sige,
Sige. And,
tig-isa tayo para makapag-isip.
oh, sige. So that's one of mine. I guess the next one would be yung ano ba? Shit, ang hirap bigla pumili. Yung sa
Mm.
um, yung solo ni John Mayer sa sa Slow Dancing in the Burning Room.
In a
Lest I
burning
be
room.
called
Yeah.
A John Mayer stan, which I am.
Yeah.
Yan, so it's isa mga favorite solos ko.
Chino Mayer.
Sax lang. Okay, Tito Kicks, your turn.
Ah shit. Three souls.
Isa lang muna ngayon and then ikot-ikot until time runs out.
Oh man. Uh, I'm not gonna play it now, but
Okay lang.
definitely one solo that affected me deeply. So let's start with one. Um, if anyone knows Gary Moore,
Yeah.
uh, he has a song called "I Can't Wait Until Tomorrow."
Yeah.
The recorded version, yung coda niya, which fades out. Uh, Major pentatonic lang. I'm forgetting it now, but basta it fades out. Then I heard the live version ng haba, and it was such a perfect balance of that's when I first appreciated yung emotional guitar playing. I really felt it. Yung, lump in your in frog in the throat, whatever you want to call it. And then, he would improvise haba nung live version eh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's my first one.
Okay.
Gary
Back to you,
Moore, I
Carl.
Can't Wait Until Tomorrow, the recorded version
Can't wait
and
until
the live
tomorrow.
version. Yeah.
Nice. Sige, I will definitely listen to that. Carl, number 2 solo mo.
Think parang formative for my age was Slash's solo sa Welcome to the Jungle. Just not just the
Mm.
specific solo, pero all of those lead parts in that, parang that
Yung feels
opening
niya.
intro with the delay, those
Yeah.
fills, and then they stick to the head. Eh. Parang those are
Yeah.
solos and fills that stay
Agree.
in your mind. Yeah.
Agree. Okay, so sa akin naman, total na sa Slash na rin na tayo na na thread. Yung solo niya sa Don't Cry, that was one of my favorite solos. I never learned it start to finish. Alam ko lang yung medyo slow part. But I'm gradually learning the faster part. So later on siguro I'm gonna record the version na pang post. Tito Kicks, number 2.
Number two. One of my favorite guitar players is Pat Metheny, and my absolute
Oh yeah.
favorite modern composer. Actually, I actually love him more as a composer than his guitar solos are brilliant, right?
Yeah.
There's a song from the album Letter from Home, um, and I love that entire album. But there's a song called Slip Away. Um, it's in G minor, eh. And there's a guitar, so the guitar solo there is so it's so um something like this. No, basta- and the way he was phrasing it, because the tempo was chan chaka chan chaka chan chaka chan chaka chan,
Right.
and then he one two, yung
So medyo behind,
tan tan
syncopated.
tan 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 taran taran taratan,
Yeah.
yung laid back, and the title of the song is Slip Away. Yung even listening to the chord progression may lungkot siya eh. Slip Away, the title.
Yeah.
Tapos
So
yung
parang
solo niya
nawawala.
yung talagang laid back and ta 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 ta. Yung laid back, tapos yung the choice of notes and whatnot. So I check that out. Yung whoever's listening, Slip Away from the Pat Metheny Group's
Sige,
album Letter from
pakinggan
Home.
ko din
It's a
'yan.
beautiful song, and the rest of the album is fantastic, especially the title cut, which has very little guitar, but that's a prime example of, for me, the perfect musical composition. But the solos Slip Away, it hits me when I hear it. Naluluho, as in listen, naluluho. Yeah,
Yeah, I get the feeling. Okay, last round na 'to ng solo. So Carl, your number 3 favorite guitar solo
So
in the
in given
world.
time, ngayon, marami na akong naisip na ibang solos too, that like I wanna swap out and put in here and whatever. But for this moment, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
because it's just
yeah.
like a crystallization of lahat ng styles of blues and all those licks fall into one
You know,
thing.
Yeah.
Now I
you
will
know.
learn parts and one day I will put it all together. Pero
Yun.
I can't
Kasama
do.
yung guitar face. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Sige, so for me, I guess the last one I can add to the mix is yung guitar solo sa Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. Yung sa ano, it's from the Eric Clapton Unplugged. Okay. Anyway, I guess you can just check it out. Maganda siya. It's in the key of C. Parang so bluesy, very bluesy na ano. Na kami ni Carl pinag-aralan namin itong song kanina and before. I had him learn the chord progression and the guitar solo.
and
So yun,
yan ang
maganda rin.
homework.
Yan, homework to ni Carl dati. But yun nga, this is one of the solos I learned then by ear when I was in high school. So yeah, okay, Tito Kicks, your turn and then we'll end na.
Sige. Well, the third one would be any solo from Eric Johnson. I'm not about to try but like one of the things that I love. Sorry, wait. Mali yung angle eh. So things like I do that a lot, and I know it's yung mga, that's an
Yung
Eric
runs
Johnson
niya.
thing. yung runs niya, any Alan Holdsworth solo, and then he goes off and whatever.
Yun,
Um,
no?
uh, oh, but if there's any solo that every guitar player should hear, it's Comfortably Numb, David
Ay,
Gilmour.
yes, agree.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's so good and so emotionally touching that I don't even want to attempt playing it. But another David Gilmour thing that people can check out would be yung sa Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. Uh, sorry.
Yun, no? Yun.
Um,
Awesome.
David Gilmour. Everyone should has to check out David Gilmour. And
Yeah.
and anything Hendrix.
Yun.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you, Carl and Francis, for doing this tonight. So Francis, we were naputol tayo na ano na you were promoting. So you said season 3 of Toaster Rose is coming up. What about sa The Dawn?
Mm.
Is there anything you want to promote?
Yeah, again, yung bago naming kanta is May Bukas Pa Tayo. You can, excuse me, find it on
Bless you.
Spotify, Apple Music, and go to Ditto Music because they're the ones responsible for distributing that one. We're working on a collaborative thing with Sherin Reyes. If you're
Oh, okay.
watching, and Third Flow, who's going to rap. We didn't write the song, but we're currently working on that. And there's another song that Jet and I worked on, but syempre, that's sakana because we have to finish this collab uh,
Yeah.
thing
Where can we
first.
find
Yeah.
you and or The Dawn on the socials?
The Dawn Philippines on Facebook. We also have Instagram. Yung Twitter is basically non-existent. But primarily
Okay.
sa Facebook, look for the Dawn uh, Philippines, and yeah.
All right. So again, Carl, it's Puma Podcast and it's the group of the awesome podcast in that network. Ako naman, I'm Chino of the Itchy Worms, and syempre, this is my channel, my guitar learning channel. So if you want to sign up for lessons, just send me a direct message. I'm also with the Itchy Worms. Our latest album is out called Waiting for the End to Start. It's on all the streaming platforms. We're coming up with 2 new music videos to celebrate the 25th year of the band,
Oh my god,
and we'll
25.
Wow.
we'll
Wow.
we'll
Uh,
maglalabas din kami ng podcast and a documentary. So yeah, again, thank you, Carl. Thank you, Francis,
Thank you.
anytime,
for doing
anytime.
the 1 year anniversary thing with me. I appreciate it so much. So I'll let you guys go. Thank you everyone who
Thank you.
watched.
Thank
Sana
you.
maulit.
Yeah,
Ang fun
anytime.
Same.
nito. So, this was
Yeah.
super fun talaga. Umabot tayong 3 oras. So again, everyone who
Talaga.
watched and is, huh?
Talaga.
Oh,
Sorry to everyone.
it's okay. It's okay. It's so totally fine. Ang saya nga eh. So, thank you again everyone who was still here. Hello AIDS, Matthew, Marv, Z, yung mga nandyan pa. Thank you for watching. This has been Learn Guitar with Chino, and happy weekend. Bye-bye. Good night.